Those in attendance demanded that CPS reverse the dismissal of Ogden International School principal Michael Byer. The decision came after the school district inspector general, Nicholas Schuler, concluded that Ogden administrators falsified school attendance records. A homeless man is accused of faking a disability in order to con elderly people in north suburban Skokie. Maren Gimes was charged last week with a felony count of theft by deception. Police say Gimes befriended victims by pretending to require a wheelchair inside of churches and hospitals. Chicago City Clerk's office is closer to implementing some new reforms. City Council's Finance Committee approved some measures this week that will ease the burden on about 500,000 delinquent motorists. Under the proposed ordinance, City Clerk Ana Valencia plans to create a 4-month city sticker. It will give, she believes, hard-pressed car owners an option of paying $29.28 3 times a year instead of nearly $90 in one lump sum. Harold Baines being considered for the Baseball Hall of Fame. The former White Sox outfielder, one of 6 players on the Veterans-era 10-man ballot, revealed today. The group also includes former Southsider Albert Bell. Now, you know about the Snake Road in southern Illinois. It will stay open for just a little while longer. Officials with the Shawnee National Forest yesterday said a late warm spell kept some endangered snakes and amphibians from crossing that road until the weekend. The road was supposed to reopen on Halloween. Chicago sports, Zach LaVine, a career-high 41, leading the Bulls to a 116-115 double overtime victory over the Knicks at MSG. Blackhawks prepping for the Hurricanes on Thursday. Bears are prepping this week to host the Lions on Sunday. Javi Baez is in the running for the National League MVP, but it's not likely it will either go to Brewers outfielder Christian Yelich or Rockies third baseman Nolan Arenado. And Cubs manager Joe Maddon will enter the 2019 season without a contract extension. Maddon is in the final year of his 5-year deal. The news, a service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. Help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 5:08, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The world is a dangerous place. Often, it's a very ugly place. And you come here to try to help make sense of it all. We give you the latest news, help you understand what it means and why it's important. But there are bigger questions you need answered about life and death, faith and hope. And that's where our sister station, AM 1160, Hope for Your Life, comes in. When you're looking for answers to life's biggest questions, give them a listen at AM 1160 or online at 1160hope.com.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dinovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dinovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dinovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dinovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Did you hear that Tony Preckwinkle and Mike Madigan have spent over $300,000 in ads just to take out Tim Schneider? Tim Schneider is our tax watchdog on the Cook County Board.
No.
Yes, and Tim's opponent, Kevin Morrison, says he wants to create smart new ways to create revenue for Cook County.
That sounds expensive.
It sure does. We need Tim Schneider on the Cook County Board to fight for taxpayers. Now, Tim has never voted for a property tax increase. And Tim has never voted for a sales tax increase. Tim Schneider did lead the repeal of that awful soda tax.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes, and Tim Schneider has been endorsed by the Chicago Sun-Times, Daily Herald, and the Chicago Tribune, each describing him as a champion for taxpayers and for fighting off the Chicago machine. The Tribune said Schneider is an extraordinary board member who is sensitive to the big tax burdens on homeowners and employers.
Well, I already pay too much in taxes. I'm voting for Timothy Owen Schneider.
Paid for by Citizens for Tim Schneider.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
5:11. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
On the outbound Kennedy, we're seeing roadwork delays from Nagle to Canfield. It's 28 minutes from downtown to O'Hare. Inbound fine at 20. No issues to report on the Edens, the Eisenhower, and the Stevenson right now. The Ryan looks pretty good. There's outbound roadwork 87th, the split in the 3 left lanes. On I-57, delays start at 103rd, 21 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop 427, slow for 100. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today mostly cloudy with a little rain late in the afternoon, high 52. Tonight rain, low 44. Mostly cloudy, windy, tomorrow high 50, then a colder night, partly cloudy and breezy with a low 33. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
.48 degrees at O'Hare, 49 along the lakefront, 49 at Midway, and 48 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Amy is just finishing putting up the Make America Great signs, polling places in Lakeview, so she'll be in a couple of minutes. She's got to do her chores on this election day. It is the last day of early voting for the 2020 election, so polls open at 6 a.m.
That's right.
Isn't that what this is about?
It is.
And also in Chicago, always a special day. Mike Scott, I'm sure you've got legions of stories about election days.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a special day where we remember our dearly departed by having Good Samaritans pay other Good Samaritans to vote in their name.
On the cheap, too, by the way.
It's very special.
Used to cost between
they're Good Samaritans.
25 and 50. Now it's almost free. Almost.
They're Good Samaritans. Closing arguments have been happening all week into yesterday and to the op-ed pages as well. Nancy Pelosi, the speaker in waiting, saying that San Francisco values, that's what we're about. There you go. I mean, not to get too grotesque at 5:15 in the morning, but what's the big story out of San Francisco over the last 6 months? How they can't seem to keep human feces off the streets.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm just saying. Well, and there's the gratuitous sound effect to put an exclamation point on it. Now, by contrast, Kevin McCarthy, also hailing from California, also a speaker in waiting, made his closing argument in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend. Next year, we're talking about Republicans reaching the moon. He harkens to the moon landing. Next year marks the beginning of a new Congress, the 50th anniversary of our first moon landing. Neil Armstrong, the whole deal. The moon landing is a story of what makes America great, our determination in the face of challenge, industrial might, the ties that bind. And if it's to continue to achieve great things. This century will be because of those same strengths, the conditions for greatness still present, but for years, Many Americans have been haunted by the feeling that we've lost our way since the thrilling days of the Apollo. And so McCarthy's essential argument is keep us in charge, and we're going to reach for those great milestones again. We're going to take advantage of all of the raw materials to achieve greatness for America again. Those very high-minded. That hasn't been so much what the rhetoric has been in the closing days from either side and from the D.C. press corps. The D.C. press corps yesterday poking President Trump in advance of his rallies, including closing it out in Cape Girardeau last night in Missouri with Rush and Hannity. But peppering President Trump over his commercial being taken down off Fox and NBC, the Caravan commercial, which the D.C. press corps has roundly criticized as racist. This is just a quick example of why Trump is winning with respect to the D.C. press corps. And this, if you're a conservative or if you're just an antagonist of the D.C. press corps, either way, this is the only way to deal with them, what you're about to hear. Truly is, in my estimation. And so I stand with Jon Stewart in telling you that Trump is going to win this game every time. Why the commercial was offensive, they say to the president, and the president says,
I don't know about it. I mean, you're telling me something I don't know about. We have a lot of ads, and they certainly are effective based on the numbers that we're seeing.
Well, Mr. President, a lot of folks have said that ad was offensive. Why did you like that ad? What were you trying
Well, a lot of things are offensive. Your questions are offensive a lot of times, so, you know.
I'm not being offensive. You're being offensive.
It's a mold-breaking type of relationship that he has with the D.C. press corps and with some state-based reporters. They don't know, as a longtime journalist, they don't know how to deal with someone who doesn't stay and color within the lines.
Right.
They don't know how.
He also because he's a dichotomy. He cares what people think, but he doesn't care what they think.
Right.
So simultaneously, I mean, I want to be amplified by the D.C. press corps, but it's going to be on my terms because, you're not going to tell me. And it's really fascinating to listen to, and I think it is the right approach because he sees them as part of the game, I think, and they have made him their personal bête noire. He is the bane of their existence, and they must destroy him. Trump doesn't really seem to be intent on destroying anybody. He seems to be intent on manipulating them to his ends, and that's a big difference.
It is. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, the committee to reelect, has chosen, instead of taking the normal midterm path, which is local issues, local candidates, how do you reflect the state, how do you reflect the district? No, in all 50 states in congressional campaigns, Donald Trump is the focus of almost every ad.
Right. Because that's where all the intensity is.
Right.
But it could be an overreach.
It's very possible in places, for example, like in California, where the assumption is that they're going to move anywhere between 3 and 6 seats. The possibility is that they've overreached on 2 of them, and the math starts to tumble a little bit for them as they make that major move to try to get control of the House. The overreach is the good word you use.
It's interesting. I mean, when pundits and pollsters don't really know when they give you big spreads.
Right.
Charlie Cook, anywhere between 20 and 45. So anywhere between not taking it and taking it. And, more likely between 30 and 45, but he's keeping open the possibility of 20 to 35. And there were pieces in Politico and elsewhere
535. Same thing.
What if we and also too? What happens if Democrats lose?
538. Yeah,
538.
Yeah.
Right. But I love what hedging your bets, especially after 2016. Some people a little chasing. What happens if we lose?
Well, sure. 7 of 10 was the number for Hillary Clinton by 538 on the day of the election. 7 of 10. The number for 538 number this year for Democrats taking
it's like 85, 87.
It's like 7 out of 8 versus a 1 to 8 retain for GOP, and
it's reverse for the Senate.
It's reverse. It's totally the Senate is almost to the point where it's 4.5 pickup for the GOP.
Now the flip side too, to just be honest about this, is these Senate races that have closed. Some polling in the recent days in Missouri and Indiana that suggests those races have tightened back and forth.
Yeah.
So there could be some surprises on the Senate side too,
Right.
good, bad, or indifferent.
We're watching. I think the biggest surprise. We're watching Ohio, which has been a 9-point spread pretty consistently throughout the fall. And Karen Housley and Tina Smith in Minnesota. Housley has closed some gaps, and Tina Smith has received almost all of the early vote in Minnesota and doesn't have a lot of steam left going into Election Day. We'll see.
The other one in the Midwest that's interesting, we talked to a couple. We talked to Sean Duffy, congressman from Wisconsin yesterday. Vukmir. He characterized Leah Vukmir against Baldwin as a hair behind. Walker's a hair up, and Vukmir's a hair behind. I think she may be more than a hair, but it's interesting. He believes that Wisconsin Republican strength is the close under Walker and the machine they built up there.
Sure, maybe.
And then the other one is John James, and Michigan seems to be closing on Debbie Stabenow, and we've got a reporter.
You got that audio?
Yeah, we'll play that
goodness.
momentarily. A reporter who's nervous about John James closing, in fact. Ed and Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, if I could just do a public service announcement, anyone that doesn't vote Republican this term, and they're not all wonderful people, but you know what? You're voting for Maxine Waters and Nancy Pelosi, and anyone that votes for JB because they're tired of Rauner, which I am as well, you know what? You're going to regret it within 6 months when every tax anywhere is going to go sky high, because that's the only way he's going to be able to get himself out of this mess, this financial mess. Have a nice day.
Thanks for the call, Ed. But, I mean, again, regret is built into Illinois electoral results.
Hear special election night coverage tonight, beginning at 7. Then talk about it with Dan and Amy tomorrow morning, starting at 5 a.m. on your election station, AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hello, voters of DuPage County. My name is Chris Randall, and I'm a veteran of 2 combat deployments. Today, I'm speaking with you about the toughest and best commander I've ever had, Kevin Wiley. He's running for DuPage County District 6 County Board. I've been in some tough situations in my life and served with some of the finest Americans in our nation. And I can confidently say today that Kevin Wiley was the finest commander I've ever worked for. In an army of great leaders, he was primus inter pares, first among equals. Please vote for my friend and commander, Kevin Wiley, for DuPage County District 6.
Paid for by Wiley for DuPage County.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning after you vote today. Why don't you just kick back and listen to the stylings of John Cass telling you what is likely to happen tonight. Also, from our Freedom Fest, one-on-one interviews with Heather McDonald, with former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark, with Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe, and then property tax info. You need a little last reminder of what should be informing your vote when polls open today? DefendHomeowners.com. Look at your home. Look at home sales in your community. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org and read stories that your neighbors have shared about how, cautionary tales really, about how the highest property taxes in the nation have decimated their home value and their mobility, frankly. All of the property tax, home sales info, defendhomeowners.com, saveyourhomenow.org. Everything else, including those interviews, upstream-ideas.com.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One and a member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you. Or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Wednesday, November 7th at Papa Joe's Restaurant in Orland Park. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar, Wednesday, November 7th at 6:30 at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400. 708-478-1400.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and take a couple calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line, your favorite election stories while we wait for the polls to open, and then you can tell us your stories of mayhem, incompetence, and
well, if there's long lines, short
chicanery.
lines. Yeah. If they're even open, I remember sometimes election judges sleep in a little late for work sometimes.
Hey,
and,
we'll start the election whenever they're ready. Robert in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, real quick. My brother lives in California, and you'd be surprised how many Republicans live in California and they keep their mouths shut because they live there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so that's just one state. And I'm telling you, he lives in Huntington Beach, and everybody around there is a Republican. And even if they're Democrats, they're not going to vote that way because of the toilet that they live in as far as taxes go. My goodness. But I suggest, one suggestion, I already voted. Once you go out, go vote. Definitely go vote. And then turn off the radio, turn off your TV, and party up with whatever you like to party with. And
Sure.
wake up tomorrow and then find out.
All right. Thanks for the call, Robert. I like it.
That's a nice approach to Election Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's light them up.
Yeah, go
Tap
vote.
the keg.
And then turn out the lights, wake up a little groggy tomorrow, see what happened. All right. Art and Huntley. Art and Huntley.
Yes, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, I was moved. I was moved last night with the Donald Trump rally, where that woman passed out. When they were carrying her out, they sang "Amazing Grace" and said the Lord's Prayer. That sure shows us Republicans are not deplorables, and it really touched me and a lot of other people. And the other thing I want to say, the next election we have, I want every person who is in office to state like Donald Trump did. I did this. Not all this BS on TV. Oh, no, he's against this. And you find out the guy was never. I'd like to see that happen in the next election.
All right. Thanks for the call, Art. Appreciate it. Mike in Plano.
Emotional.
Hey, good morning. I want to mention a couple things about the District 14 race out here in the western burbs between Holcren and Fake Nurse Underwood. First, I watched all the nightly newscasts, the local newscasts, and I'm glad they actually mentioned the story about Underwood and her supposed nursing career. But every single one of them kept mentioning this phony poll that showed Underwood up 6 points. Now, that's a New York Times live tracking phone poll where the overwhelming majority of people didn't even answer the phone. So it's a bogus suppression poll. So everyone out here needs to get out and vote for Randy to make sure he seals the deal. Second thing, I wanted to get your opinion on this too, Dan. You know, this area, this is Kendall, Kane County. It's grown a lot over the last couple of decades and had some demographic changes, but it's still what I call a moderate Republican or center-right district. Randy won this district. He got more votes than Trump did. He won 65% of the votes just 2 years ago. So do you think the voters are smart enough to see through Underwood? I hope they are. knowing the people out here, I think they'll make the right decision.
Yeah, thanks for the call,
What
Mike.
she told the Daily Herald back in August of 2017, she said that Congress needs, they have a lot of lawyers, business people, but not with a lot of professions like hers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. What's your profession?
Well,
You're not a nurse, but she played off that she was and said it would be better, to have somebody like her in Congress.
We'll have more on Lauren Underwood, too, because there's also the issue of her voting illegally in the Illinois 2016 primary, a follow-up story we did since the Chicago Press Corps won't. And we'll take your favorite election stories at 5:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and check in with Mike Scott.
49 degrees, light rain showers. Polls open in more than a half dozen states already. As the midterm elections have finally arrived, Democrats like their chances of retaking control of the House by a narrow margin. President Trump, however, says there's something special in the air for these midterms for him and Republicans.
I leave Ohio. Thousands and thousands of people can't get into this massive arena. I just left Indiana. Thousands and thousands of people outside can't get. There's something going on. There's an electricity that feels like 2016.
Voters in the Southeast will have to brave thunderstorms and heavy rains today. Tornado warnings out for Texas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, and that heavy weather is headed to the East Coast right now. USA Gymnastics might soon no longer be a national governing body in the United States Olympic Committee. Olympic Committee CEO Sarah Hirschland announcing a plan to actually revoke the organization's status yesterday. More than 50 Lowe's stores in the U.S. and Canada will close their doors in the next few months. 2 of them in the state of Illinois, the home improvement chain, announcing it will shut down 20 underperforming U.S. stores, 31 in Canada early next year. Jobs at those Lowe's stores will not be lost. They will simply be moved to a nearby Lowe's. 4 types of cake mix this morning being recalled after a salmonella outbreak. The FDA announcing yesterday that Conagra Brands is recalling 4 of its Duncan Hines cake mixes because of possible salmonella contamination. Just recapping Election Day highlights here in the state of Illinois. The polls open at 6 a.m. in less than 1/2 hour and close at 7 p.m. tonight. Illinois election managers believe it's too soon to say if huge early voting numbers are just folks getting their vote out of the way early. Retiring Cook County Clerk David Orr hinted yesterday that that is what is happening, and it remains to be seen if early voting numbers are a part of a larger uptick or just an early vote. Snow expected in Chicagoland later this week. The National Weather Service reports today will be the warmest day of the week. The Bears are moving to prime time later this month. NBC deciding to flex the team's November 18th matchup with the Vikings at Soldier Field to a 7:20 game. Bulls double overtime winners over the Knicks at MSG, 116-115. 5:33 is our time. Coming up on 5:34 and a check of traffic and weathers on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says we control our own destiny.
Do not buy this narrative that people know what's going to happen this coming Tuesday night. They don't know. They're the same ones who said they knew that Hillary was going to win in November of 2016. Don't believe them. Go to the polls. Crawl over broken glass to vote. We show up. We're going to win.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Copays, codes, coupons. Searching for savings on prescriptions is so complex, it's like you need a doctorate degree. Fortunately, CVS Pharmacy employs thousands who have one, our pharmacists. Plus, we built a proprietary search tool to help them find you savings on prescriptions. You don't need to know all of that complicated stuff. You just need to know someone who does. Your friendly doctor of pharmacy at your local CVS. Savings vary. Not all patients eligible for savings. Ask pharmacist for details.
Let's think about customization presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Liberty Mutual customizes your auto insurance so you only pay for what you need. So why aren't more things in life customizable? Why isn't a burger cheaper when you ask for no onions? I don't want them, so shouldn't you deduct the price of the onions, right? Otherwise, I'm paying for the onions, but I'm not receiving any onions.
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, liberty, liberty.
coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates, equal housing insurer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hi, this is Congressman Randy Hultgren. I want to tell you why I'm running for re-election to the U.S. House of Representatives and to ask for your support. I've accomplished a lot during my time in Congress. We have the lowest unemployment in years and a record number of new jobs. We've cut taxes, passed regulatory reform, put ISIS on their heels, and repealed the individual mandate of Obamacare. But there's still a lot to be done, and that's why I'm asking for your vote. We need healthcare reform that lowers costs and expands choices while continuing to protect the coverage of those with pre-existing conditions, which I've worked for and supported my entire career. We must reduce the size and scope as well as the cost of the federal government, and we have to protect programs for our seniors and veterans. You don't have to wait until November 6th to cast your vote. You can vote today at any one of the early voting locations in your county. For more information and to help find the location in your neighborhood, visit randyhultgren.com/early voting. I'm so grateful for your continued support, and together we will keep working for the 14th District and for Illinois. Paid for by Hultgren for Congress.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Meghan Crane. A weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
5:36. Let's get an update on the roads now in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Outbound Kennedy traffic is stop and go Foster to Canfield after overnight construction. It's 26 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound 20. Reversibles are open inbound. Edens looks good. Same goes for the Eisenhower. Down Stevenson, a little bit heavy now. Central and Kedzie. In about 36 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. On Ryan Slope, Cermak, Burn Circle, 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 heavy, 119th to Holstead. It's 30 minutes. I-80 to Merge. Bishop 424, ongoing work. Tollways are okay at this hour. In northwest Indiana, it's slow going on westbound 94, Reeve Stretch, US 20, and Lake Station to Ripley. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cloudy, windy, 50 today. Partly cloudy, breezy, colder overnight, low 33. Clouds and sun tomorrow, very breezy, and a high near 44. Currently 48. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And, today's the day. When it's all said and done, you vote, and then you shoot the breeze, talk about what you think is going to happen. Maybe share some of your favorite stories from elections past. 312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA. Turnkey.pro text line. Take your favorite election stories. I've got one.
Oh, of course you do. What's yours?
That includes Amy Jacobson.
Uh-oh.
But I'm not going to tell it yet.
Oh.
That's called a tease in the business.
Did you whip out my voting record again? I have nothing to hide. I told you I'm a recovering Democrat. I have an
election story that involves you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I did run over a Susana Mendoza sign on the way to work today, but it had blown in the middle of the street.
I'll give you a hint. It's back from your days as a reporter.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you have to think about that.
Is this the one with the ward boss?
I don't know that story.
You
have to tell your own stories. Bill on the Northwest Side.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I have a question for you. On the day after Election Day, 2016, I remember Hillary winning the raw vote by what was reported at that time as about 400,000 votes. And I thought to myself, well, that's going to be a relatively minuscule fraction of the overall votes, and I didn't think too much of it at the time. But over the next coming weeks, that victory margin of raw votes grew to 2.6 million. And my question is, how could that happen, and how could none of the swing states be affected by an influx of votes like after the fact, so to speak.
Well, I mean, these are like
so late in the process.
Well,
and another quick question before you let me go is, I was just wondering if you happen to know the time delay between a person's death and the time it goes through the coroner's office and eventually to the modifying and deleting the person from the voting rolls. Thank you for taking my call.
I can answer the last one. That depends on how many bodies are at the morgue.
Thanks for the call, Bill. Well, in Chicago, I mean, just because you die doesn't mean you lose your franchise.
Right, or your Social Security checks.
So, I mean, exactly.
You should report that immediately and get the death certificate. That's the one piece of paper you leave this world with.
Ask Carol Mosley Braun about that.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, no, we don't have any qualifying agency that I'm familiar with that does that. There's been actually some Republican Party efforts to encourage the governing election authorities in Cook County to do a better job of maintaining their voter rolls. I don't know how well that's really worked out in a sustained way. I mean, I have a voter database myself that we use for the little cabal I'm a part of. And so we're constantly updating that. But, of course, we're not in control of elections. We're just in control of our communication to voters. So, I mean, it becomes this recurring problem. But what was the other thing? What was his other question?
Come on.
Cleaning the rolls was one. And then, the Hillary vote count. So, I mean,
about popular vote. I mean,
remember, in many of these where they declare a winner, you have all the votes haven't been counted. It's 95% in, it's 99% in, it's even less, and you can look at the distribution of votes and say this race is over. So, and then obviously the votes keep being tallied. Also, you have mail-in ballots that have to be counted as well, and sometimes, depending on the state. Remember, elections are not federal exercises; they're state and local exercises. So everybody does things a little bit differently. Everybody's a little bit more or less proficient. Mm-hmm. So it's just complicated. So it's not unusual when you have, thousands of votes being cast, much less hundreds of millions of votes being cast, to have, some difference between the reporting early in the night versus the reporting later in the night or even in subsequent days. Mike on the north side.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. My election story goes back to November of 1990. I showed up at my grandmother's polling place. It was in the 35th Ward run by Dirty Joe Kotlars. And I told him to take her off
Later
the
went to
rolls.
federal
She had
prison.
died. Yeah, who went to federal prison. And gets to park illegally on Clark Street for Cub games. He still keeps that right.
Oh, that's good.
But I went to her polling place and I asked them to take her off the rolls because she had passed away. And they says, oh, no, she voted. I says, how could she have voted? She passed away. They said, well, she voted absentee. I says, the absentee ballots come out in September. She died in August. Mm-hmm. So somebody better call the Vatican and tell them we've got a miracle on our hands. Or somebody better prepare for a prison stay. Now, of course, I reported it to the state's attorney's office, but that was run by dirty little Richie Daley at the time. And, nothing happened.
Mike, this is how good that we are here in Chicago and Cook County, is that we send absentee ballots to heaven.
Aw.
Thanks for the call, Mike.
I remember a few primaries ago going into my precinct, and they didn't have a Republican ballot.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to wait for them to go to the Board of Elections, or the Cook County Board, whatever place that is downtown, and wait for them to bring back Republican ballots. And I said, I'll wait. I'll go home. What time you want me back? Here's my cell phone. Just text me, or never text me. I waited an hour, came back. Still weren't there. Waited another hour, came back. They were there. Yeah.
Candace, recently relocated to Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin. Candace Nay DuPage, now Mount Pleasant.
You're still Candace of DuPage on your Twitter.
Hi. Okay, now every day I'm amazed by the state. It keeps such a low profile. It's amazing. But last night I volunteered for a couple hours for the Racine GOP, and there's a human dynamo there. She's 20-something, and she's basically running the campaign for that from that office there. and she's going to be a superstar big time. And I definitely think she's worked so hard. Her name is Lindsay, and I think that she believes that Scott Walker's going to win. So I feel very good about my investment up here. I'm like crossing my fingers. But one thing, Dan, I noticed was the sophistication level of how they do their groundwork. It's all done on notepads. Unlike us, we get a script, a paper script that's got coffee all over it, whatever else. It calls 5 people at a time, okay? It's amazing. We don't have nothing like this in Illinois, and I think that's why the GOP is losing.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Candace.
Get your notepads.
So what's your ward healer story?
My what?
Ward healer story, ward boss story, whatever.
What? Oh, my boss ward? Oh, I was, because I had a Romney sign in front of my house, and they didn't take too kindly to that, so they would knock it down, and I'd put it back up. And he said, Jacobson, if you don't vote, if you don't take that sign down, we're not going to plow your streets. Your garbage service pickup will be a little slow. And I mean, and he meant it. And so I took, whatever. Romney didn't win, but still, it was just, you're getting bullied. That's what you do. You get bullied.
So one of my favorite election day stories.
Excuse me. Yes.
Can't really talk too much about favorite stories of candidates winning and going on to do great things. So it's more what happens in some of the losses. Tony Pareca versus Todd Stroger in 2006. You were there covering it.
I sure was. I had bruises on my arm the next day.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's so much better to tell it with a little bed of music. It's a story of overcoming the odds. It's a story of a couple of crazy kids who thought they could topple the machine.
And some reporters who tried to help.
So that race was so close, you remember.
Oh, I remember.
And so many of the precincts were not reporting certain parts of the city, and then we got word that the tapes were being driven in from the west side, the south side, elsewhere for the precincts that weren't reporting because of some computer malfunction. This is 2006 now, it's ancient history. That we went from the Intercontinental Hotel, we were having our election night party in Moss, about 100 of us, and stormed the Cook County building to find out where the missing tapes were and to get a full accounting of the count. And because we did that,
I was with you guys.
I know you walked with us.
We were like the Pied Piper marching down Michigan Avenue, taking it to the streets. And Alan Kraszewski took a limo there, and I walked with you people.
I was in Kraszewski's limo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I was walking with others who were just as angry as we were, because it was a nasty, dirty election. Then when we got there, all these mob people, like straight out of Central Casting, were protecting the ballots, and I just wanted to see the box. And I put my arm in there, and he pushes it away. And I put my other arm in, and he pushed it away. So I just want to see. Let me see what the box is labeled. I need to know what's in the box.
And then I took one of those tapes.
Yes.
And I threw it and knocked out a city street light. And it sent off a daisy chain reaction of all the other street lights being knocked out as I rounded the bases for home. I'm going home.
Hear special election night coverage tonight, beginning at 7. Then talk about it with Dan and Amy tomorrow morning, starting at 5 a.m. on your election station, AM 560. The Answer.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dinovite.com. With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dinovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells,
and the Dynavite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynavite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
I remember on that. So this whole group that went.
Yeah.
Because we were not going to have it taken from us.
It was
like
so
David
great.
Orr was complaining, the violence, and you can't do this, you can't come here. The hell with that. It's a public building. There was no violence. We came there to make sure that it wasn't taken from us. And it wasn't even any offense to Todd Stroger, the opponent, but this was the closest race for Cook County Board President in 40 years at the time. And we weren't going to let Democrats do what they've historically done. And so that was it. But, at least we went down fighting, and that's more than the Republican Party in the state can say, generally speaking.
Hey, if you're interested in refinancing your existing home or investment property, then you need to call Team Hochberg. George from Bucktown was so happy with his refinance. He wrote this review, quote, "I'm very pleased with the way my Team Hochberg loan officer, Anna Eckroth, and Team Hochberg helped me and my family secure a new mortgage within 2 weeks of signing the application. Everything was done in an efficient and professional manner, and I was thrilled Team Hochberg secured me a loan. I was able to secure a lower rate and save a couple $100s a month. I'll definitely refer everybody I know to Anna and Team Hochberg. If you're refinancing your home or investment property and would like your loan processed in the same professional manner as George, call the Team Hochberg mortgage experts right now at 312-751-1333 for a free consultation, or simply visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358, NMLS 19186.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Did you hear that Tony Preckwinkle and Mike Madigan have spent over $300,000 in ads just to take out Tim Schneider? Tim Schneider is our tax watchdog on the Cook County Board.
No.
Yes, and Tim's opponent, Kevin Morrison, says he wants to create smart new ways to create revenue for Cook County.
That sounds expensive.
It sure does. We need Tim Schneider on the Cook County Board to fight for taxpayers. Now, Tim has never voted for a property tax increase. Tim has never voted for a sales tax increase. Tim Schneider did lead the repeal of that awful soda tax.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes, and Tim Schneider has been endorsed by the Chicago Sun-Times, Daily Herald, and the Chicago Tribune, each describing him as a champion for taxpayers and for fighting off the Chicago machine. The Tribune said Schneider is an extraordinary board member who is sensitive to the big tax burdens on homeowners and employers.
Well, I already pay too much in taxes. I'm voting for Timothy Owen Schneider.
Paid for by Citizens for Tim Schneider.
Hey guys, Ken here from the award-winning podcast Today's Growth. If you had to choose sides, which camp would you rather be in? Would you rather have time and no money, or money and no time? Did you know that 95% of U.S. adults by choice have settled into these categories? Much more interesting is that 1 out of 20 people have built their life around achieving simultaneous control of both time and money. What choices did these 5% make that the others didn't? My friends at Income Store have shown both households and businesses how to build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams for the express purpose of gaining control of time. When it comes to helping folks create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Are you buying or selling a business or starting a business? Maybe you have legal problems with a business partner or employees, or are just drowning in new regulations. You need the support of a law firm that concentrates in a wide range of business law and tax matters. You need the corporate team at Kelleher & Buckley. Whether you're a local mom and pop shop, middle market business, or a large corporation or franchise, they provide cost-effective legal solutions to help your businesses thrive. The lawyers of Kelleher & Buckley focus on targeted legal advice tailored to meet the specific needs of your business. You deserve competent legal representation from a law firm maintaining a high level of knowledge about the ever-changing laws governing businesses, one that also includes accountants and tax specialists on board to provide your business bottom-line solutions. Kelleher & Buckley, LLC of North Barrington and Chicago is a legal solution provider that also includes estate planning, asset protection, life insurance planning, and litigation. Keep your business on track. Call 847-382-9130 or online at KelleherBuckley.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy taking your favorite Election Day stories. And also, it's,
Nobody can top ours.
It's open mic night, so or morning. So whatever you want, questions, you want to talk about a particular race.
Polls open in 4 minutes. We'd like to hear is your precinct open? Can you vote? Are there ballots? Yeah. Are there people there?
I mean, call in
with
problems. Don't call in to tell us, hey, yeah, I just voted. It's not exciting.
No, but why? I mean, I've got to vote for Governor Rauner today. I got to pinch my nose and.
You don't have to do anything except stay white and die. Greg and Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan and Amy. Incidentally, that night that you guys walked, that's my second favorite Chicago story. Second only to a non-election, but the night that they elected Gene Sawyer mayor, and the guy dancing on the desk. That's classic Chicago.
Yeah, okay, it's a good one.
Okay, my favorite memory so far of this election was Sunday night, when you could contrast Obama's speech versus President Trump and the sheer ability of President Trump to command an hour of accomplishments, one right after another, after another, after another. And it is factual, not debatable, evident, and effective, and it's working. And as a result of that, what's going to happen tonight is we're going to have a bigger pickup in the House and a big pickup in the Senate. And then things are going to get ugly because Obama just stood there being totally delegitimized, as well as the Democratic Party.
You think think Republicans are going to pick up seats in the House?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
that's a bold prediction. All right. Thanks for the call, Greg.
If that happened, some heads would roll at the DNC.
The contrast, though, that Greg points out between Obama and Trump, and that I think really gores Obama's axe more than anything, is the lack of accomplishments he has, and to the extent that he had any he would consider accomplishments, they've all, minus a limping Obamacare, been undone. But Mike in Hanover Park.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Hey, I didn't vote yet, but friends of mine did one of those early voting things, and he said you got to watch because they put the mileage tax question on there, and the way they word it is something like it says, would you be opposed to a mileage tax or something like that? Are you against whatever?
It's like a double negative. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You're supposed to. They want you to say no, and it's supposed to be yes or whatever. But read it very carefully. And I got one quick question for you. How does Don Lemon, I don't know the guy's name on CNN, still have a job? Because all the racial statements he made, a white person would have been fired by now.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Mike. Although I want Don Lemon. He's one of those guys. One of those people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I want them to stay right where they are with all the attention they have and keep talking. We couldn't do to them what Don Lemon or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are doing to them. So let them be.
And they're helping the Republican Party and probably not even knowing it. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the polls are going to be open in just a few seconds. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Catch up with news from here and around the world. Here is Mike Scott on this election day.
A judge denies a motion to dismiss Laquan McDonald cover-up cases. A woman found dead at the home of a former Chicago police officer. Snow expected to hit the Chicago area later this week. Harold Baines on the Hall of Fame ballot, finally. Bulls top the Knicks, double overtime. Cloudy, windy, cool today. WIND. Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Americans can now vote in half the country. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The polls are now open in 24 states and in one county in Tennessee.
Vote for Republican Congress, for Republican Senate.
President Trump at his last pre-election rally in Missouri last night, where there was no early voting in that state. So Democratic Senator Claire McCaskill expects a big turnout as she tries to beat back GOP challenger Josh Hawley in a tight race.
And there'll be over 2 million votes cast. So that tells you how close it's going to be. So every single vote counts.
And that is one of many very close races with control of Congress at stake. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, there are 11 tight races in the Senate. Republicans hoping to expand their majority by picking off vulnerable Democrats in red states like in Indiana, West Virginia, and Nevada. Of the 26 Democrat senators up for re-election, President Trump won 10 of their states. Democrats need to win a net 2 seats to take control. Over in the House, there are more than 70 competitive races. Democrats have been forecasting a blue wave that would allow them to retake control of the chamber. They need 23 victories to flip the House. Dave?
Range of voters may deal with some bad weather in the south and in the east. There were already damaging tornadoes overnight in Mississippi and Tennessee, where a woman was killed in a house collapse in Rutherford County.
Severe storms are still ongoing from parts of northern Alabama into Georgia, eastern Tennessee, and surrounding areas of the southern Appalachians.
National Weather Service forecaster Jared Geyer. There was also wintry weather forecast for today in Montana, which is one of those states with close Senate races. Today is not just about Congress. They're also voting for governor in 36 different states. The remains of a National Guard soldier killed in Afghanistan were flown to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware last night. Brent Taylor was on leave as the mayor of North Ogden, Utah. He had a wife and 7 kids. One's just a baby. This is Fox News.
Skies are gray. We've had light rain showers all night long. And into this morning hour, we have some wet roads and slow conditions on some of the roads, 49 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning and happy Election Day. I'm Mike Scott. Polls are open right now. They close at 7 p.m. tonight. The marquee race, of course, Republican incumbent Governor Bruce Rauner and Democrat challenger J.B. Pritzker. Voters will also be deciding contests for Congress, state comptroller, a healthy race for state attorney general, all members of the Illinois House, and a number of seats in the state Senate. Early voting numbers, as you've heard, are at record levels, but while County Clerk David Orr says over 271,000 ballots were cast in early voting, it's too soon to say if the early voting numbers are just those responding to get out the vote by traditional candidates and pushed by state and local governments early voting, or whether it is an uptick in turnout. Or saying yesterday, it still remains to be seen. Head of Security for Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle this morning finds himself out of a job. Delwyn Gladden was fired after a Cook County Inspector General report revealed his taxpayer-funded SUV that he drove, that Gladden drove, was improperly used to transport political materials. Now that vehicle was found abandoned in the ditch in the morning after the 2016 elections near Lamont. Snow expected in Chicagoland later this week. National Weather Service says today will be the warmest day of the week, temps dropping to below normal to the mid-20s by week's end. The trial of 3 current and former Chicago police officers accused of a cover-up in the deadly police shooting of Laquan McDonald will go forward later this month. David March, Joseph Walsh, and Thomas Gaffney will all appear at a bench trial scheduled for November 26. Harold Baines being considered for the Baseball Hall of Fame. The former Sox outfielder is one of 6 players on the veterans ballot, revealed yesterday. Zach Levine, 41 points in a Bulls double overtime victory over the Knicks at MSG, 116-115. The news service of UPSjobs.com. What is future you doing right now? You could be working for UPS as a part-time package handler. Now hiring in Hodgkins, plus receive tuition assistance from the UPS Earn and Learn program. Apply now at UPSjobs.com. 6:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity sees a shaky foundation.
Now that there's irrefutable and incontrovertible evidence that it's the highest-ranking members of the FBI and DOJ that are involved in nefarious activities and abuse of power to prevent one person from becoming president, the house of cards is beginning to tumble.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
Simplify your vacation planning during Apple Vacation Super Sale. The best selection of hotels and flights are available now, all bundled into one amazing package. Whether you're looking for an affordable weekend getaway or a full week of relaxation, the vacation choices are endless with Apple Vacations. Explore Los Cabos. 6 nights of unlimited luxury at Reflect Crystal Grand Los Cabos start from only $9.49. Or make it 6 nights at Rio Palace, Baja California, starting from just $12.49. And with Apple Vacations, it's all included. Non-stop round-trip air, resort transfers, all meals, drinks, and taxes. Call Carey Travel Express at 847-639-3300 to book your trip today, or visit CareyTravelExpress.com. Prices per person based on double occupancy for select exclusive vacation flights from O'Hare to Los Cabos on Viva Aerobus PC 18123 starting February 3rd, and include taxes and fees including September 11th security fees. Some flights are operated by other airlines. Baggage charges apply. See AppleVacations.com. Prices subject to availability and change. Restrictions apply.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hi, this is Congressman Randy Hultgren. I want to tell you why I'm running for re-election to the U.S. House of Representatives and to ask for your support. I've accomplished a lot during my time in Congress. We have the lowest unemployment in years and a record number of new jobs. We've cut taxes, passed regulatory reform, put ISIS on their heels, and repealed the individual mandate of Obamacare. But there's still a lot to be done, and that's why I'm asking for your vote. We need healthcare reform that lowers costs and expands choices while continuing to protect the coverage of those with pre-existing conditions, which I've worked for and supported my entire career. We must reduce the size and scope as well as the cost of the federal government, and we have to protect programs for our seniors and veterans. You don't have to wait until November 6th to cast your vote. You can vote today at any one of the early voting locations in your county. For more information and to help find the location in your neighborhood, visit randyhultgren.com/early voting. I'm so grateful for your continued support, and together we will keep working for the 14th District and for Illinois, paid for by Hultgren for Congress.
Illinois Bone and Joint Institute has more advanced fellowship-trained doctors than at any other orthopedic practice in the Midwest, and the most comprehensive medical diagnostic and rehabilitative services. Visit ibji.com to learn more.
It is 6:08. Get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
CTA Blue Line trains have some residual delays after a medical emergency at Western. The Edens Expressway looks good at this hour. Kennedy inbound, tight Cumberland Canfield. 23 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 28. Inbound Eisenhower delays are from Wolf to First Avenue and Sacramento to the Burns Circle. 39 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 31. Inbound Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38. Inbound Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 17 with roadwork at the south end. I-57, 30 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 421. Worked on Tri-State slow from Harlem to the 83rd Street toll. Hinsdale awaits at 47th, Reagan Silva to the Ike. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Mostly cloudy day with a little late afternoon rain, high 52. Rain will continue through the night tonight with a low of 44. Then tomorrow turning out to be a mostly cloudy and windy day with gusts up to 30 miles per hour, high of 50. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
48 at O'Hare, 49 along the lakefront. Next news, 6:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Polls are open. And remember, again, today is the last day of early voting for the 2020 election. So you want to make sure you get out and cast your vote for 2020.
I'm excited. So when are you going? Right after the show?
Yeah, I'll get around to it.
Special time?
I can. You got all kinds of time.
Yeah.
All kinds of time.
But I'm so excited because this is the day, you can't complain anymore if you don't go out and vote.
No, you
right?
can, actually. You
can?
can
Really?
still complain.
Okay.
You're American. You don't have to
what
participate.
are Republicans going to do about Governor Rauner? I mean, that's a question I have. Registered Republicans, diehard Republicans, conservatives, are you really just going to leave it blank? You really just going to let J.B. Pritzker have it? I mean, J.B. Pritzker, he's a joke. He's like a blow-up house that you bring to a block party. He's a mascot.
Let J.B. Pritzker have it. There's no letting.
Well, if we don't
there's
vote
no
against him,
letting.
are we trying? I mean, I feel like I'm not trying to stop him from becoming governor if I don't vote against him.
Okay.
So, and you're going to leave it blank.
As I've been saying for the last 8 months.
Okay.
I think I told you and told everybody. Nobody wants to particularly listen, and now there's frenetic reaction in the closing hours, acts of desperation from drowning men and women. That after the summer into fall that he had in 2017, he would not win re-election. There was no path for him to win re-election. So the Republican Party was making a massive mistake to renominate him. They narrowly did in the primary, and now we'll see what happens tonight. But I'll tell you what's going to happen. He's going to lose going away, like I've been saying forever.
Yeah, well, he doesn't think so. Last night at Benedictine University saying, no, there's still time.
Now, this is our time, guys. We got to do it. Tomorrow's the day. Let's make sure. Tell everybody get out and vote. Call your friends. Call your neighbors. Walk your neighborhood. Remind everybody to vote. If we get the turnout, we're going to win this.
So it's all about turnout, Dan.
Yay, 20X8, yay! Yay, 20X8, yay!
I'll tell you, if
should get that whole clip.
that saccharine happy talk doesn't get it done, golly, I just don't know what would. I understand people don't want to reap what they've sown because they don't like consequences to mistakes. Mistakes often are attended to with consequences you don't like, and that's going to be the case in Illinois at the gubernatorial level and at the statewide level. I'm sorry. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. You can make all the arguments you want. I'm telling you what's going to happen. It's been locked in for a long time. This race has not changed in terms of trajectory, barely at all in 8 months, despite almost $250 million between the two. Okay, so you want to thrash around? Go ahead. I'm not participating. The play that there is to be made is where your votes actually matter and where most of these competitive races are going to be decided by a couple of hundred votes or less. It's at the legislative level.
Yep.
So the idea of, and there's always great attrition, 15%, 10 to 15%, top of the ballot down to the bottom of the ballot. Now, you get weary voting against retaining all those Cook County judges if you live in Cook County. But you've got to vote for legislative races. Congressional races, yes. Legislative races. That's where the action is. Pritzker is a done deal. You want to inhibit Pritzker? Elect Republicans at the state legislative level in the suburbs. Even if you're not a Republican, at least you get some bulwark against one-party rule, against Madigan and Pritzker. That's the play. Is it not obvious? And, oh, by the way, if you recognize, as anybody paying, even passing attention for the last half a century recognizes that Madigan is the most powerful politician in the state, then why would you return more troops to him for him to further ensconce himself in power? So again, suburban and some downstate, but mainly suburban Democrats have to go. They have to be bounced out of legislative seats or rebuffed if they're challengers. That's making a statement. That's doing something productive on this day. That's where you could actually count. Don in Rolling Meadows, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I just voted, and I would like to see a voter initiative saying there can't be any uncontested races.
Well,
Preckwinkle's running uncontested. How's that a choice?
Well, it's not a choice, but the choice is that the Republican Party didn't put anybody up or nobody chose to run against her. That's a choice, too. Not participating is a choice.
Yeah, not a very good choice.
No, I know.
Guys, have a good day.
Thanks for the call,
She's
Don.
going to run for mayor, too.
No, I know.
So it's Republicans didn't put up anybody to challenge her, and now she's going to be mayor. So then that's going to be an empty.
We
What
prefer
are we doing
that we prefer people run for multiple offices at the same time. It's just
I mean,
it's
Chewy
easier
Garcia
that
ran
way.
for Congress, and he's still he's a Cook County Board Commissioner, and then he was, they
Yeah.
dangled the mayoralship in front of him.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think the Democrats in the city have enough jobs, enough options.
I mean, it's just distribute the offices. Like everybody gets at least two. It's
about
just,
Tony
it's just,
Preckwinkle.
it's
I'm
just,
leaving that one
it's
blank.
just easier. Mendoza will be comptroller than
I'm
mayor.
mayor. Yeah.
Preckwinkle can be Cook County Board president. Man, I don't know. Maybe give her aldermanic seat back too while we're at it. Just throw that in.
Yeah.
It's just
Because she's so accomplished. I mean, what has she done?
Dan in Libertyville.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I've got to say I'm pumped up about today. I'm really looking forward to seeing the results nationwide. While statewide, I know what we're going to get because I know what the voters want. They want to have a socialist state. But when I watch President Trump do 11 rallies in 8 days, and he's still able to shout out his message clear and concise, and then I see Obama sounding like an 80-year-old man gasping his last breath after doing only 2 small rallies, I guess we know who's got more energy. There was a lot of talk about how old he is. Can he handle this? He's not only handling it, he's smacking them down. I couldn't be prouder of him, and I'm really looking forward to the results tonight in places like Missouri, Florida, Tennessee. I can't really hope for much in Illinois because when I talk with voters here and I say, have you considered voting Republican? They snarl at me like a dog that's been stuck with an electric zapper.
Well,
they don't understand they're getting hurt by their vote, and that by voting for their Democrat representative, they're keeping Madigan and Cullerton in power. It's like they have blinders on.
And if that's happening in Libertyville, then, that's not a good sign. Thanks for the
And
call,
we're also
Dan.
keeping a close eye on Wisconsin, Indiana. I mean, would you ever live in Florida if Gillum wins, Dan? The Tallahassee mayor?
Gillum's not going to win.
He's not going to win?
Marty in Naperville.
Hey, 2 things. Back to what that last caller just said about the Democratic. Well, my in-laws, you could run anybody you could run my dog as a Democrat, and we're Democrats in Illinois. You have to vote Democrat. I don't even know if they vote, but that's the thing. And I want to tell you, Amy, Preckwinkle is not going to be mayor. Mendoza is going to be mayor, and she's just going to kick harder. So start getting this stuff right with your new mayors.
There
okay?
you go.
If I see that
Good
soccer
call, Marty.
commercial one more time, I'm going to tear my spleen out with a rusty spoon. I mean, enough already. That soccer, come on.
It's important.
And then you get her coach out there. She just wanted to play with the boys. Shut up. I mean, seriously. If you want to play a real sport, try volleyball or girls basketball. Okay?
What's the bull jive Horatio Aldrich story? She tells she was not allowed to play soccer.
Her dad said she couldn't play soccer, and then she got on a boys team.
She's my age, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
We
What-
always had women's soccer.
What are you talking about? Nobody was not letting you play soccer.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me? It's absurd. And we're going to have to do another Laura Underwood expose on Susana Mendoza being recruited to play soccer as opposed to being prevented from playing soccer. It's ridiculous. I mean, Jesus, honestly, what the?
I know. And then she went on to be a
Oh,
star.
my God. Wow, you're Susan B. Anthony.
Who's holding her back? Title IX was in place long before she entered the scene.
Title IX? We're talking about girls playing soccer when they're, toddlers. Goodness sakes. Yeah, back in the 1700s when Susana Mendoza was living. Raphael in Far, Texas.
Hey, good morning, Chicago. This election is about what we really believe in. And, I want President Trump and America to succeed. Trump has played the apprentice to a T. And it's going to pay off in a big way at the end of the day tonight.
What happens?
And this has been the most exciting midterm election in my lifetime. It has been much like a great rock concert that you don't want it to end. And after all the hard work that President Trump has done, he cannot say, "Well, maybe I didn't do enough." Oh, he went beyond that. Above and above. He can be satisfied no matter what the outcome is, that he did great work. We can't say that he just sat on his butt and didn't do anything. He got out there every day. He has been on the road talking the last 5 days or 10 days.
Hey, Raphael, so you're in Texas. What's your prediction on Cruz versus O'Rourke?
Cruz will win. There was some negativity about Cruz because of the way he attacked Trump. And I was one of the voters that I was going to refuse to vote for Cruz because of that. But after listening to O'Rourke, I said, no, I don't want this guy in office.
Yeah.
He'll be bad for Texas. He'll be bad for the country.
And Cruz
open
and Trump
borders. He believes in open borders and all kinds of stuff that Texans do not believe in.
Thanks for the call, Raphael.
And Beto peaked early, I think. He peaked. And then Cruz and Trump, they, rekindled their relationship.
Beto also made a strategic mistake, I think,
What did
that's
he
going
do?
to end up costing him, which is he went full leftist. Rather than presenting himself as, a moderate Texas Democrat, he's not, but he could have presented himself like that. I mean, the truth, obviously, is no barrier to most of these politicians, including him. He went full Democrat socialist. It just doesn't play. I don't care how much of a rock star you are. Scott on the Southwest side.
I just wanted to say that Mendoza's mother did not want her to play soccer. Mendoza's father that she could play soccer because he anticipated she would quit once she got kicked. Real nice supportive parents there.
Is that the story, or
Yes,
are you
that's
just
right.
or do you know
No,
the
that is the
family?
story. No, that's from the ad.
Oh, it is. I don't really
I wouldn't
listen.
even put that out there. It makes my parents look bad.
Yeah, thanks for the
you're
call,
right.
Scott.
My mom didn't want it because she wanted me to be at home in the kitchen.
You know what it reminds me of? Remember John Edwards?
Yes.
Right. Remember
Little
how
tiny arms?
how he would always run down his dad. I came from nothing. My dad was a piece of They basically said that. I came from nothing. We ate dirt. My dad didn't work, and look at me now. It's like he was aggrandizing himself by running his dad down. That's very funny. I didn't really catch that on the Mendoza ad because I don't really pay that much attention.
Her mom didn't want her to play, and then her dad said that she played because he knew she would quit. And she's not a quitter. She's a fighter.
She's something, and it's not a fighter. Yemi on the north side.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. I just want to tell you guys that just like 2016, I went to the pool 30 minutes before the poll ends, and I'm going to do the same thing today.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've seen so far is the repeat of 2016 because everything I've been hearing, Trump, Republican going to lose, is the same thing I can hear today, and I feel like some ballot. Thank you.
All right, thanks for the call, Yemi.
Hear special election night coverage tonight, beginning at 7. Then talk about it with Dan and Amy tomorrow morning, starting at 5 a.m. on your election station, AM 560. The Answer.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, M-U-E-L-L-E-R, CPA.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hello, voters of DuPage County. My name is Chris Randall, and I'm a veteran of 2 combat deployments. Today, I'm speaking with you about the toughest and best commander I've ever had, Kevin Wiley. He's running for DuPage County District 6 County Board. I've been in some tough situations in my life and served with some of the finest Americans in our nation. And I can confidently say today that Kevin Wiley was the finest commander I've ever worked for. In an army of great leaders, he was primus inter pares, first among equals. Please vote for my friend and commander, Kevin Wiley, for DuPage County District 6.
Paid for by Wiley for DuPage County.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get a $79 furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I'm definitely feeling better because now that I'm feeling better, I have more energy to be able to do more things. Before I couldn't, I was in severe pain with my back and I really couldn't function without taking an ibuprofen. And I haven't had to do that.
The first day energy level was up by about 30%. Stamina was probably up 40%. Alertness was probably 20-25%. Afternoons, I'd get groggy, doggy. Just in 2 days, that is gone.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you. Or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Wednesday, November 7th at Papa Joe's Restaurant in Orland Park. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar Wednesday, November 7th at 6:30 at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400. 708-478-1400.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy taking your calls all morning. Let us know what's happening at your polling place, your Election Day experience. 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line. Tim in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I just seen this morning that last night on MSNBC they had it popped up where it showed Gillum winning the election at 49%.
Yeah,
I just want to know if you guys seen that.
Yeah, the RCP average has Gillum +4. There's a couple of polls that have it.
No, this was a vote count. It was already counted like he had already won it. It was like a mistake on their part at MSNBC. It had him winning with 3 million votes, 3.9 million votes.
They're calling the race for Gillum before election
They called
day.
it like that. Like votes already counted at the bottom of the screen. You guys got to look it up online.
All right,
Okay,
thanks for the
we'll check
call,
it out.
Tim. Oh, I missed.
Yep.
Okay, wow. All right,
that's
MSNBC
fake news.
prepared to call Florida for Andrew Gillum. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Lauren Underwood not only faked being a practicing nurse, she also faked being an Illinois resident. The latter actually is a crime at 6:36.
And all morning long, it's your call, America. Get out and vote. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Let's hope MSNBC didn't do what a lot of television stations have done and printed test Associated Press numbers, tests, as reality. 49 degrees outside, gray skies, and there is rain in your forecast and a chilly weather ahead for the rest of this week. It is Election Day here in Illinois. Polls are open. They close at 7 p.m. tonight. The marquee race, of course, Republican incumbent Bruce Rauner against Democrat challenger J.B. Pritzker for governor. But deciding contest for Congress, state comptroller, state attorney general, all members of the Illinois House, and a number of seats in the state Senate are up for grabs. Facebook this morning says it has pulled dozens of accounts that might have been engaged in what the social media giant calls coordinated inauthentic behavior, their words, ahead of today's midterm elections. Facebook officials say U.S. law enforcement agencies actually notified them of the Facebook and Instagram accounts. They're linked to foreign entities. Voters in 5 states will decide whether to legalize marijuana today. Michigan and North Dakota are voting on recreational weed for those over 21. Medical marijuana measures are on the ballot in Missouri, Oklahoma, and in Utah. This morning, the head of security for Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle is out of a job. Delwyn Gadlin was fired after a Cook County Inspector General report revealed the taxpayer-funded SUV Gadlin drove was improperly used to transport political materials. By the way, that vehicle was found abandoned in the ditch near Lamont after the 2016 election. A homeless man is accused of faking a disability in order to con elderly people in Skokie. Maren Gimes was charged with felony theft by deception. Police say Gimes befriended victims pretending to be in a wheelchair or require one inside churches and hospitals. Once he garnered their sympathy, he would request luxury gifts and payment for hotel rooms. Chicago sports, Zach LaVine scored a career-high 41 to lead the Bulls to a 116-115 double overtime victory over the Knicks at MSG. Blackhawks host the Hurricanes Thursday. Chicago trying to end a 5-game losing skid. The Bears prepping to host the Lions on Sunday. Cubs skipper Joe Maddon will enter the 2019 season without a contract extension. Maddon in the final year of his 5-year deal. The news service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 6:32 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Not a day goes by without a terrorist attack somewhere in the world, or violence right here in our own streets. It can be paralyzing, which is why we're here at AM 560. We try to make sense of it all, but sometimes you're looking for a deeper understanding of life's most troubling issues. We'd like to encourage you to check out our sister station, AM 1160, Hope for Your Life. We'll still be here when you come back, but give them a listen at AM 1160 or online at 1160hope.com, because even when you have the answers, you still need hope.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've been on it now. It's got to be close to 5 or 6 years. But I've never run out, and I like to have a little cushion. I want to double up if I feel a little, like I need a little extra. I don't have to worry about being stingy with it. I'm 54 years old, but anyway, 9 years ago, almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years this December 6th. And I went to work one day. I went and I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke right at work. And I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 5 days in the brain trauma unit of the hospital in New Jersey. And the only reason they even tried to save my life was because I was 44 at the time. And 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. My body's been through a lot. And, I used to be in bed for most of the, if I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I'm talking to you now. I sound pretty wired. And I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning, and I feel great. Overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better. And when I came home, I was on 17 medications, not 17 pills. 17 medications, maybe 40 pills a day. Now I'm down to 3 very, very, very low dose pills, and I'm hoping to get off of everything here. Where I was to what I am now, it's unbelievable. I'm so blessed. So you're speaking to literally a miracle.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
It is 6:35. Let's get an update on the roads. And we do that in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Edens Expressway inbound traffic is stop and go Toohey to Montrose. It's 26 minutes. Lake Cook Junction, outbound fine at 19. Inbound Kennedy, delays are from Cumberland to Montrose, Sacramento to the Burns Circle. 32 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 15 from Montrose, 10 on the Express. Outbound 26 minutes to O'Hare. About Eisenhower, now 50 minutes, 390 to downtown, 35 from Manheim. Outbound 32 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Delays start at Weber. Outbound 38 minutes to 355. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 32 minutes, I-80 to the merge, before 421. Northbound Lakeshore Drive is jammed. Chicago Avenue to the Oak Street curve with crash. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, cloudy, windy, high near 50. Partly cloudy, breezy, colder, low near 33. Breezy, chilly, times of clouds and sun, a high of 44. Tomorrow night, a low of 27. So we really begin to dip toward the snow. Thursday, cloudy and cold, 42. Thursday night, snowflakes and 29. Friday morning, snow, cloudy, cold, high 37. Currently, 48 degrees at O'Hare, 49 along Chicago's lakefront, 49 at Midway, and 48 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the lawyers of Kelleher and Buckley. Targeted legal advice for your business. KelleherandBuckley.com.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. It's Election Day, so that's what we're going to talk about when freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We were talking about this MSNBC report that I had missed, but MSNBC preparing to, at this point, last night, call the Florida governor's race for Andrew Gillum.
Yeah, it was a colossal mistake, but here it is.
All right, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, many thanks. Quick clarification here. Just want to say earlier this hour, we showed a graphic of the Florida gubernatorial race. May have caught your eye because our system had inadvertently populated some test numbers. Obviously, we do not yet have any vote totals here the night before the election. That was a misfire. Yeah. Don't worry. I was pretty confused when I saw it up there to see it there myself.
Yeah, but you're in charge. You're the anchor. So if you see it up there, you stop the show. You say, we have a technical error. You throw to a commercial and you regroup. But they didn't do that.
Well, they don't know what they're doing.
Well, I know. It's like children in television.
Jim in Tampa, Florida.
Good morning, everybody. And give you a little poll report from down here. As you guys remember, I delivered the I-4 corridor, thus Florida, thus the nation for President Trump last year, 2 years ago. There's a buzz that's similar here. I went by 4 polling places on the way to work today. All of them are packed, and we have early voting here. So it's so hard to tell, I can share that anecdote. A friend who's a business owner has many African Americans working for him. And you know how in any group of people, there's always the Yoda guy, the smart guy that everybody kind of looks to for the final word. His Yoda guy told all the rest of them, what are you guys thinking? Don't you realize that these people have never done anything for you? And think about the bonuses you've gotten the last 2 years, blah, 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 and giving those guys an education. And he thought that was pretty powerful. I think that's probably happening in a lot of places, but who knows?
All right. Thanks for the call, Jim. I still think DeSantis wins. I just can't believe, particularly how those snowbirds are going to
vote.
Are going to cede Florida going so well to Andrew Gillum to do a 180. I mean, it's not just that the whole, make history. He's like the cool black guy thing that people like, which is idiotic.
Cling on to, which is, you're right.
It's not like this is...
Who is he?
It's not like he's some pristine superstar. This is a guy who was a failed mayor of a city that's not doing particularly well in Florida, Tallahassee, an outlier, and who's under federal investigation.
What's he under federal investigation for?
For accepting illegal gifts from undercover agents.
I
mean, it's just remarkable.
You think that would be enough to secure, a loss for him? But.
Here's something else remarkable locally. This was we were talking about yesterday. The story that was not covered by the Chicago Press Corps and with a few exceptions, hasn't generated much interest from the Chicago Press Corps either. Lauren Underwood, she's running against Randy Hultgren in the 14th, one of these very competitive suburban races. Hultgren and Roscom are two targets for Democrats to take out in Illinois to take over the House. Okay? Mm-hmm. Lauren Underwood, we reported in my outlets, Kane County Reporter, Will County Gazette.
And kudos to you guys.
She was faking being a registered nurse as she being a practicing nurse. She is a registered nurse. She was faking being a practicing nurse right there on TV for all to see.
Yeah, and that was shot at a dentist's office. She put on scrubs, had patients that weren't patients. They were actors who were there. But she told the Daily Herald, Dan, back in August of 2017 that, we have lawyers and business people as lawmakers, but not a lot of professions like mine.
Well, that's fine. She's a registered nurse. But you don't hold yourself out as a practicing nurse when you've never been a practicing nurse. You've never seen patients. And she's holding herself out as being a practicing healthcare professional. Mm-hmm. That's not accurate. That's political fraud.
The clipboard and the stethoscope. She's all, saying she cares about the people. I mean, it's just a lie.
Political fraud.
Okay.
That's one thing. Voter fraud is actually a crime. In 2016, when Lauren Underwood was living in D.C., working full-time for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, she voted in the Democrat primary here using her parents' address. She voted in D.C., where she was registered, 6 times over the 7 years she was there, including the 2016 general election. But in the 2016 Democrat primary, she cast a ballot from her parents' address, absentee ballot. The law in Illinois, to vote legally, you must be a citizen, 18 years old, resident of the state at least 30 days prior to voting. Purporting to be registered to vote in 2 jurisdictions is a violation of the law. So she committed political fraud, and it seems that she committed voter fraud. The latter is a crime. Does that matter to anybody? I mean, some pundits have suggested, well, Randy Hultgren was sort of committed malpractice by not getting this out soon enough. True. I agree. But it's out now. And there's still a lot of people to vote today. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. As we were talking about, House of Cards is real life in Illinois. We even use the same character surnames.
Exactly, Underwood. But remember what she said? She told one outlet, as a nurse, I've looked into my patient's eyes when giving discharge instructions, knowing they cannot afford the prescription that we're handing to them. Oh, really? Now you've written prescriptions? No, you haven't, because you haven't worked as a nurse at a hospital or at a clinic, or even at a CVS Minute Clinic.
I guess she figures if Blumenthal can lie about his Vietnam service and if Cory Booker can have an imaginary friend, then she can be a pretend practicing nurse.
I mean, these hands-on nursing situations, to promote this life that she doesn't live, to try and get your votes. Are you stupid enough to vote for her? I think not.
Here's the Chicago press coverage of her.
Oh, what?
This is yesterday, after this story's out.
Yeah.
And picked up nationally, thanks to Mark Levin and American Thinker and a few others.
Breitbart picked it up, yeah.
Chicago Sun-Times. Who is one of the hippest candidates on the ballot? Lynn Sweet says Lauren Underwood has crowds amped up at a Democrat rally this past weekend. Here's more on the candidate of the 14th Congressional District. That's the Sun-Times cheerleading coverage. Who's one of the hippest candidates on the ballot? Just tweeted out yesterday. Okay. Bob in Buffalo Grove.
Thanks for taking my call, Dan and Amy. I got a trivia question. What is the current cost or rate for an election judge? Because the reason I bring that up is my late grandmother was a Republican judge from, you ready for this, 1920 to 1970, 50 years.
Wow.
And I think the last year she got $25 for the whole day.
I think it's like $200 now or something, right? $225.
Yeah, they wrote her up in the paper. I wish I would have saved the article because she complained, to spin the story, that she felt she ought to get a bonus for being a judge for 25 years, for 50 years in a Republican judge in Chicago.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for the call,
Hey,
Bob.
just so you know, Eric Hong at Channel 7 last night tried to catch up with her. She was at an event and she would not take any questions. And all that she would say is, this is what people do when they're losing elections. This is what career politicians do when the polls show they're slipping, she said. That's what she said at her event in regards to Randy Hultgren hitting her back or asking her about her nursing credentials that aren't there.
What a clever dodge.
Yeah. But they tried, just so you know, they did do the story.
Gary in Oak Forest.
Hi, yes. I want to call in about, some of the disingenuousness of these candidates. I mean, they all like to portray, the congressman you had from Wisconsin yesterday was kind of right on the point, that they try to, go back to the middle and be as moderate as possible, but nobody really looks at their voting record. And, that's the important thing. And, you were talking about that Kristen Sinema yesterday. I have some friends in Arizona that feel kind of the same way that Amy did. And, I guess my question is, how can you ask a politician to stimulate the economy when they're conflicted about which sex organ to stimulate?
Well, she just likes playing on both teams.
Gary.
But with Kristen Sinema, what she did was she separated herself from the Democratic Party. Remember that radio interview? They asked her, "Are you a Democrat?" And she said, "No." She's pretty much.
She's all over the map. I mean, it's not like she's been a disciplined candidate. She's attacked Republicans. She's attacked the Tea Party. She's attacked Arizona residents. Then she's loves Arizona, wrapping herself in the flag and with great landscape shots of Sonoma, and Sedona, excuse me. And it's just she's just all over the place.
She's a hot mess.
She is.
And she's, as I said before, she's sexually deviant. I don't like her.
Well, the question. Well, give us the case to vote for a Democrat in Illinois, or in Arizona, for that matter, or Florida. Give us a case. Anybody want to give us a case to vote for your local Democrat state rep? For Lauren Underwood, for Sean Casten, good grief.
Dear Lord.
For Andrew Gillum, for Kristen Sinema. I mean, I could go on. There's a start. Mark in Plainfield.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I just voted for Randy Hultgren, and if Lauren Underwood does win, I'd love to challenge her in 2 years because I'm a CPA, and if any profession is underrepresented in D.C., it's CPAs, and if anyone could balance a budget, it's a CPA.
Yeah.
And that all said, I hope Illinois doesn't run out of hot water today because I just voted for Rauner as well, and I need a long, hot shower.
Yeah, thanks for the call,
That's
Mark.
what I'm going to do. I'm plugging my nose, going into the booth, and doing it.
George in Libertyville.
Yeah, two things. I mean, on this Underwood thing, Dan, one, how does she get prosecuted? Because that, the evidence is pretty clear on that. And secondly, looking back into 2017, what do you think Rauner was thinking when he did what he did and he enraged his base so badly? What do you think was going through his mind?
I think his wife was.
I think his wife is a factor. I think his. I think he. Thanks for the call, George. I think that's part of it. I think that he thought that this is the way to make an overture to all my North Shore Democrat friends, the low information voters in Wilmette and Glencoe, Highland Park, Evanston, Glenview, Northbrook. I could go on. Those low information voters, signal to them, signal to my social circle. And the other thing he thought, and this is hubris, and there's nothing that fells more people, including powerful people, than arrogance. This is Rauner's arrogance. Who's going to challenge me? What's anybody going to do about it? They can't stop me. I've got the money. They've got nobody. Nobody's going to challenge me in a primary, much less beat me in a primary. And, and then where are they going to go when it's me versus J.B. Pritzker or Chris Kennedy or whoever emerged from the Democrat Party? Where are they going to go? That attitude, that ruling class attitude that has destroyed the Republican Party in this state. Where are they going to go? People who are serious about conservative reform, people who actually do want policies that represent their values, people that will hold people accountable for saying one thing and doing another. Where are they going to go? That's the attitude. And that's why one of the reasons I refuse to play that game. Betrayals. How many knives do you need in your back before you start to feel it? And before you turn around and confront the traitors? No, not anymore. Done with that. Jeff in Cal City.
Oh, good morning. I just got done voting, and I was so amazed that there's so many officials in Cook County that are running unopposed.
Yeah.
Can't we put up a Libertarian, a Green Party candidate, a Rock, anyone, so that I could vote against these Democrats for Cook County?
Well, I mean,
I'm going to write you in
Jeff.
for Cook County Board President, Dan.
Thanks for the call. I mean,
is that all right?
Remember, this is a Republican Party that was asleep at the switch when a Nazi got on the ballot. There's no, outside of what our organization does and the kind of last minute trying to cobble together statewide slates like Rauner did, trying to recruit candidates for legislative office or really just kind of take whatever comes in the door. There's no formal structure. This is not a functioning operation, this thing called the Illinois Republican Party. The House caucus, the Senate caucus. They haven't built infrastructure. They just rely on cash to keep this small group in power. And they just use that for that purpose. They're not interested in building the infrastructure because that's hard work. They're not interested in investing in the infrastructure because that is more hard work. Developing talent, sticking with talent, having the resources the infrastructure, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every election cycle. Having a purpose, having a point to all of this. A policy agenda that's you can distinguish from the other side. None of that is of interest to those in charge, which is to say, again, until you get a leadership change in the Republican Party, you're not going to have a Republican Party in Illinois. You're not going to have an Illinois because you're going to have Chicago Democrat crime families continue to rape and pillage for as long as they can. More people who can do simple math will leave, and this state will become one big San Francisco. Including with the dung on the streets. Holly and Hudson.
Hey, good morning, you two. I have a question for you, Dan. What is going on? You had the congressman yesterday from Wisconsin on, and he said that basically in all of these House races, the candidates are running as Republicans, but with the money, $4 billion spent on this midterm election, is it to protect the deep state? It can't just be because the Democrats want power. It just can't be.
What do you mean
I
it can't
just
be?
cannot wrap my head. I cannot wrap my head around somebody spending how many $100 million. I just can't understand why the Democrat Party has to run like Republicans to because they know that's the message that's selling, only to get elected to then flip. I mean, I guess that's as old as time. But something else is going on, huge, much bigger. $4 billion for a midterm being
you're
spent.
you're not looking at it in context. $4 billion to get control, or as the down payment on getting control of $4 trillion. Does that sound like a good return on investment to you? It does to them. $4 billion for $4 trillion. Yeah.
Okay, but is it just? But it is also a deep state something to protect the deep. You're not buying that.
Yeah.
All right.
$4 billion for $4 trillion. Thanks for the call, Holly. That's what it's about. $4 trillion is not just a lot of largesse to distribute to your friends. Not just the ability to make a lot of your friends rich, yourself rich. It's also the ability to exercise a significant amount of control over a majority of the population of the greatest country the world has ever seen. That's pretty big. That's a pretty big thing. That's a lot of power. And then, you can do whatever you want. Look at what the Obama administration did. Everybody gets rich, and the country gets poorer and less free. So $4 billion for $4 trillion, that's how you need to look at it. Stop looking at just inputs. That's what the left does. Look at the outputs. Right, there's a reason this much money is being spent. There's a reason. So what is it? The payoff.
Here's special election night coverage tonight, beginning at 7. Then talk about it with Dan and Amy tomorrow morning, starting at 5 a.m. on your election station, AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Uber and Lyft offering discounted rides to the polls today. The governor of Maine fleeing his state's income tax, and Amazon splitting its new headquarters. Those stories next.
Stocks and options trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Hey guys, it's Scott Bauer here, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. Are you looking for a super hot stock tip? Here at Prosper, we are always looking for exciting opportunities in the markets. And right now, all my students are salivating over this stock we are watching. In fact, I've got this hot stock written down right here, and I'm about to text it to you for free. I just need to know where to send it. Simply text HOT to 48542, and I'll text it to you instantly. How do I know this stock is so hot? Well, I'm a former CBOE market maker for Amazon Options, former vice president of Goldman Sachs, and I have over 25 years of professional trading experience. I'm telling you, this stock is hot. But be warned, the stock may move soon, so you need to claim it before it does. Text HOT to 48542, and I'll text you this hot stock instantly. Text HOT to 48542, and I'll text you this hot stock instantly. Message and data rates may apply.
After months of heavy and hard campaigning, the midterm elections have arrived. Be sure to vote. And ride-sharing companies Lyft and Uber are offering discounted rides to the polls for voters who need transportation. Lyft offering half-price rides, Uber offering $10 off the cost of a ride to the polls nationwide. No matter how the balloting goes, one elected official plans to vote with his feet. The governor of Maine, Paul LePage, says he's had it with the state's income tax. He plans to move to Florida. The two-term governor says he's heading south because Florida has no income tax and very low property taxes. Amazon says it will split its second headquarters between two cities, approximately 25,000 employees to be hired for each location. Just no word on where they'll be. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I don't respect this president.
The radical liberals in Washington will do anything to stop the president's agenda to make America great again.
I don't trust this president.
They would rather see the country fail.
His motives and his actions are contemptible.
Than fix the problems facing our nation.
And I will fight every day until he is impeached. Impeach 45. Impeach 45.
But Julie Olthoff isn't waiting around for the career politicians in Washington to deliver solutions. Julie Olthoff believes our conservative ideas will give us prosperity and preserve the American dream. That's why Julie has worked with Governor Holcomb to balance Indiana's budget, cut taxes for hardworking Hoosiers, and fully fund the next 20 years of building and maintaining our roads and bridges. Julie Olthoff and Governor Eric Holcomb have Indiana on the right track. Vote Julie Olthoff for state representative on or before November 6th.
Paid for by voters for Julie Olthoff.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me, I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. See Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com as someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hello, voters of DuPage County. My name is Chris Randall, and I'm a veteran of 2 combat deployments. Today, I'm speaking with you about the toughest and best commander I've ever had, Kevin Wiley. He's running for DuPage County District 6 County Board. I've been in some tough situations in my life and served with some of the finest Americans in our nation. And I can confidently say today that Kevin Wiley was the finest commander I've ever worked for. In an army of great leaders, he was primus inter pares, first among equals. Please vote for my friend and commander, Kevin Wiley, for DuPage County District 6.
Paid for by Wiley for DuPage County.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
It's Election Day. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I just want to be free. And if the Democrats get in, we're down the toilet.
He's already voted in Florida, one of many states with close races for governor and Senate.
Go out and vote Republican.
President Trump's last pre-election rally was in Missouri, where there's another tight Senate race as Democrats hope for a blue wave.
The character of this country is on the ballot. Who we are is on the ballot.
Former President Obama was in a district in Virginia they hope to take from Republicans. Democrats need to flip 23 red seats to take control of the House. They need to take 2 GOP seats to win the Senate. 36 million Americans have already voted early. Those who haven't are now lining up in 36 states, including Tennessee. Fox's Gernal Scott live in Franklin.
Dave, some polls in Tennessee are just opening up this hour. One county, Clay County, started voting at 6 local time. Others across the state will open next hour. Now, the race between U.S. Representative Marsha Blackburn, the Republican, and Democrat Phil Bredesen, now the most expensive in Tennessee history, with more than $68 million spent. And the campaigns are closely watching turnout today and who may or may not be able to get to the polls. Several tornadoes touched down in central Tennessee last night, with leaving at least 1 death. Polls will close later tonight at 7 p.m. local time in what is expected to be a tight race, Dave.
Yeah, Gernal, that woman was killed in Rutherford County. A tornado collapsed her house. There was also damage in tornadoes in Mississippi, and more storms could roll through Alabama or Georgia, the Carolinas, and even some mid-Atlantic states. The accused pipe bomb mailer who targeted Democrats and Trump critics goes back to court today.
56-year-old Cesar Sayak's been extradited from Miami to New York. Prosecutors are expected to ask for him to be held without bail because he's considered dangerous.
That's Fox's Jill Nato. This is Fox News.
Gray skies, 49 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Election Day in Illinois. Polls have been open for 1 hour. They close at 7 p.m. tonight. Contests for Governor Bruce Rauner and J.B. Pritzker, along with deciding contests for Congress, State Comptroller, State Attorney General, all members of the Illinois House, and a number of seats in the state Senate are on your ballots this morning. Early voting numbers are at record levels for this midterm election, according to Cook County Clerk David Orr, who handles suburban Cook County elections. Chicago Board of Elections says over 223,000 early voting ballots were cast. While the numbers are large, it's no surprise as early voting options were pushed by candidates and by state and local governments over traditional Election Day voting. This morning, a man is in critical condition after being struck by a CTA Blue Line train on the west side. The victim removed from the track in the 400 block of Southwestern Avenue. The train's conductor was hospitalized as a precaution. The head of security for Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle out of a job. Delwyn Gadlin was fired last week after a Cook County Inspector General report revealed the taxpayer-owned SUV Gadlin owned was driven improperly, transporting political materials. Large group of parents are speaking out after the principal of a Chicago school was ousted last week. During a meeting last night, those in attendance demanded CPS reverse the dismissal of Ogden International School principal Michael Byer. A man found dead over the weekend on Chicago's far south side may be the first cold weather-related death of the season in Cook County. Harold Baines being considered for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Former Sox outfielder is one of 6 players on the Veterans 10-man ballot revealed yesterday. Albert Bell also on that ballot as well. Zach Levine, 41, in the Bulls' 116-115 double overtime win over the Knicks at MSG. The news service of Positive Coaching Alliance. Positive Coaching Alliance can help with youth or high school sports. A national nonprofit offering more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit pcadevzone.org. 7:04, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hi, this is Congressman Randy Hultgren. I want to tell you why I'm running for re-election to the U.S. House of Representatives and to ask for your support. I've accomplished a lot during my time in Congress. We have the lowest unemployment in years and a record number of new jobs. We've cut taxes, passed regulatory reform, put ISIS on their heels, and repealed the individual mandate of Obamacare. But there's still a lot to be done, and that's why I'm asking for your vote. We need healthcare reform that lowers costs and expands choices while continuing to protect the coverage of those with pre-existing conditions, which I've worked for and supported my entire career. We must reduce the size and scope as well as the cost of the federal government, and we have to protect programs for our seniors and veterans. You don't have to wait until November 6th to cast your vote. You can vote today at any one of the early voting locations in your county. For more information and to help find the location in your neighborhood, visit randyhultgren.com/early voting. I'm so grateful for your continued support, and together we will keep working for the 14th District and for Illinois. Paid for by Hultgren for Congress.
Senior software engineers wanted, Park Ridge, Illinois. Job includes development, customization, and management of large projects. Interpret and create tech specs, enabling integration with third-party apps. Coaching for company developers. Participating in the process of installation and configuration of development, test, production dynamics, AX 2012 environments. Participating in design reviews. Providing estimations of development time requirements for new customization enhancements. Providing assistance in the process of upgrading Dynamics AX. Working on task management and planning. Troubleshooting and resolve software bugs, data, and sys configuration issues. Working on Microsoft Dynamics, AX Core version for development and implementation for financial trade and logistics, and supply chain modules. Mentor and guide team members on tasks, specs, and tech implementations. Send resume to Mazik Global Inc., 2604 Dempster Street, Suite 410, Park Ridge, Illinois, 60068.
Get Smart Chicago. Smart 911 is here. Enroll now at smart911.com to create your safety profile, which will better help first responders get you the help you need. Enroll now at smart911.com.
7:07 on AM 560. It's time for a dry basement at a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. Check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Northbound Lakeshore Drive, traffic is jammed Wacker to the Oak Street curve after a crash. The Tri-State Tollway has northbound delays. Cicero to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Northbound Veterans Memorial, stop and go. 159th, around 143rd, with crash on the right side. Southbound 53 has construction delays. Euclid Higgins. Eden's 29 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy, 52 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 26 from Montrose, 22 in the Express. But Eisenhower jammed. Wolf Circle, 55 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, an hour, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Riot from 95th to downtown is 27 minutes. I-57, 32 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 421. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly cloudy and windy with a high 50. Partly cloudy, breezy, and colder tonight with a low 33. Then a breezy and chilly day tomorrow with clouds and sun, high 44. Partly cloudy and cold tomorrow night, low 27. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
47 degrees at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I know this story is not going to be covered by the cable news channels, the D.C. press corps. Today is all going to be about a bunch of people sitting around tables who couldn't find their arse with both hands, pontificating about what's going to happen in competitive Senate and congressional races and the implications. But it's this particular poignant for us because this is one of these poisonous people that Chicago has begotten. And he shouldn't go unremarked upon, particularly against the backdrop of the synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh, that massacre, and particularly against the media's shameless coverage, assigning responsibility for the shooting to President Trump, to Republicans. Political culpability in some places, not in others. Louis Farrakhan. Louis Farrakhan, who prominent Democrats routinely embrace. Keith Ellison, deputy DNC chairman. Al Sharpton organized a Black Lives Matter protest with Farrakhan and the new Black Panther Party just a few months ago. Eric Holder, pictured with Farrakhan at Aretha Franklin's funeral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sitting behind there with President Clinton.
Maxine Waters embracing Farrakhan following a speech in which he praised Palestinian suicide killers. Bill Clinton, also at the Aretha Franklin funeral.
They're all enjoying Ariana Grande and others.
That great photo of President Obama smiling with Farrakhan in 2005. Never came out. D.C. press corps wasn't interested.
Anybody distancing themselves from Farrakhan this morning?
Not the Iranians, because he was at Tehran University over the weekend to give a speech and to lead chants of death to America and to agree with the mullahs that America is the great Satan. This is in advance of the reimposition of sanctions on Iran by the Trump administration after the coddling of Iran by the previous administration. Louis Farrakhan.
Is it not true that you have called America the great Satan? Well, if you believe what you say, then would not Satan be actively involved in trying to destroy a nation that is set up on the belief and practice of submission to the will of God? So we should not be surprised at what Satan does to ill affect the righteous.
We're Satan and the Iranian mullahs, the theocratic despots, are the righteous. You got it?
America is making it very hard for Iran to successfully carry out its mission. But if you have the strength to persevere under these hard trials, the victory will be yours.
Nice rooting for Iran there. Every member of the Chicago Press Corps should be asking every Chicago Democrat about Hyde Park's very own Farrakhan.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing goes for the D.C. Press Corps, since so many prominent national Democrats have embraced, tolerated, if not embraced, Farrakhan. Disgusting. Anti-Semitic hate monger. Think about that, and the Linda Sarsours and the leaders of the mobs that President Trump refers to when you go to the polls today. For more on this topic and today's election, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Roger Kimball, editor of The New Criterion, columnist for PJ Media. Roger, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's great to be with you on this important Tuesday.
So let's skip ahead to one possible outcome, the conventionally predicted one that Republicans lose the House and they retain the Senate, maybe even expand the majority in the Senate. So what do the next 2 years look like under that scenario? Is it basically like the last two minus the accomplishments?
Well, I don't think it wouldn't bring everything to a halt. The judicial appointments would continue unabated, which is a very important thing. But it would, as you were pointing out in your opening remarks, the prospect, for example, of Adam Schiff as head of the Intelligence Committee in the House instead of Devin Nunes would mean that the efforts to shed some light on what I regard as probably the biggest political scandal in the history of the country, namely the weaponization and mobilization of the administrative state against a presidential candidate and then against the sitting president, that would stop. You would not have any more indictments of people like John Brennan, James Comey, and other people who should be in jail for their lies and leaks and so on. And the legislative work would pretty much grind to a halt as well. But I think it would be there are gradations of what would happen, I think. I think most people believe that even if the Democrats take the House, they will take it by a fairly slender majority. If that majority is very slender, if it's just a couple of seats, then I think there would be some Democrats in red states essentially who would, on certain issues, cross party lines. But it would not be good. It would be a derailment or a postponement of the Trump agenda to roll back the regulatory state, return power to where it belongs, sovereignty to the people, and to essentially make America great again. That would stop. Now, in my view, Donald Trump, in his 21 or so months in office, has already accomplished more than maybe most presidents accomplish in 8 years. But it would be too bad, because I think that there's a kind of momentum that he has going now, and it would be sad to see it diverted, however temporarily.
So what do you think it would say about Trump's presidency if we don't hold the House, if it flips into Democratic hands?
Not much, really, because let's face it. If you go back decades, that's the usual thing. The party in power loses, a lot of seats. In 2010, Obama lost 63 seats. That was a repudiation of large elements of his early presidency. If Donald Trump loses, 23, 24 seats, let's say, and they take it by one seat, I don't think that will mean very much. It's just if they lose it by 40, that's something else again. The expected thing is that the Democrats will take the House. I, on the other hand, a cheerful chap that I am, think that the most likely outcome is that the Republicans will hold the House by a couple of seats. I might be wrong about that, but that's just, as of 8:20 or 8:19 on Tuesday morning in Connecticut, that's the way things look to me. the polls across the country have softened for Democrats over the last couple of weeks, and the president, as he did in 2016, has been campaigning, with extraordinary vigor across the country.
Well, and
think
it's noteworthy when the professional prognosticators like Charlie Cook give themselves wide margin. It could be anywhere between 20 and 45. So, I mean, that tells you they're hedging.
In other words,
yeah.
he has no idea.
Right.
That's what he's saying. He has no idea. I mean, I think we've learned that pollsters really don't know what they're talking about. Now, as you get closer and closer to the election, there's often more and more data. But the truth, I think we've learned that Republicans or pro-Trump Republicans are shy about saying who they're going to vote for. That certainly happened in 2016.
Let me.
I live in Connecticut. I think it's possible. In fact, I would say it's not unlikely that the Republican is going to win the governorship race, which would be pretty big news.
That's interesting. That'd be nice too, because there's some other states where the Republicans in trouble. Let me ask you about this idea of a divided Congress, though. Could that end up being the best case scenario for Trump's reelection in 2020? Because then he'll have Nancy Pelosi and House Democrats to run against and to term obstructionists and the like.
Yes, I've heard that. I've heard that theory. I think it's plausible, but I think it's better to win. I would like to win now and win in 2020. And I think if we win now, I don't think it would be better for Trump's agenda to lose now, because I think that one of the reasons why I think that the Republicans do have a pretty good chance of holding the House is the extraordinary accomplishments of the president in 21 months. I mean, the economy is, on fire. And people have to people must feel that. They must feel the energy, the confidence, the renewed faith in America. That is something that is, you can describe it in data points. You can look at the stock market and consumer confidence and growth and unemployment and jobs. All of that stuff those are little data points. But what matters more, I think, is a psychological reality that, as Ronald Reagan put it, it's morning in America again, and you can feel that. You feel it both in the workers, but you also feel it in the negative way, in the extraordinary hysteria and malicious vituperation of the left, who realizes that this gravy train that they've been riding for decades may really be coming to a screeching halt, and they're going to be thrown out, and that would be delicious.
Speaking of the left, I mean, the last 2 days you've seen Elizabeth Warren, President Obama, just out on the campaign trail, trying to relive his rock star days. But noticeably absent is Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. Do you know what's going on?
No more than you, Amy. I think that the instinct for self-preservation has not been entirely bred out of the Democrats, so they understand that Bill Clinton is a liability, and Hillary Clinton, she really is like the Wizard of Oz. I mean, you take a look behind the curtain, and you have this, sad, wizened, bitter, Chardonnay swilling person who is, you see her utter irrelevance and, kind of pathetic maliciousness. So they're not going to help anybody get elected anywhere in the country.
What's your assessment of Trump's decision in the closing weeks to really emphasize the caravan and border security as an issue?
Listen, the reason, if you had to pick one reason, why was Donald Trump elected to begin with? It was because he understood that America is not the name of a space in a global entity, but it's a country. And a country only exists if it has borders. And the willful, the willful ignoring of our country's borders and basically pursuing a kind of open borders policy by both the Democrats and the Republicans in the previous decades has not only changed the demographic complexion of the country, but it has changed everything about the country. People don't like it. Americans don't like it. And I think that the president understood that if you had to pick one reason, that's why he was elected. And this, I don't really like the word caravan. I'm not sure I have a different word, but this is thousands of people, many of them criminals, who are proposing to assault our borders and come into the country illegally, and that has to be stopped. And I think that most Americans who are not joined at the hip to the ideology of CNN and the New York Times and kindred outlets feel similarly. They don't want it, and I think the president's strong stand with respect to the impending invasion can only do him and the cause of the Republicans good in today's election.
He is Roger Kimball, editor of The New Criterion, which I highly recommend, columnist for PJ Media. Roger, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Here's special election night coverage tonight, beginning at 7. Then talk about it with Dan and Amy tomorrow morning, starting at 5 a.m. on your election station, AM 560. The Answer.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get a $79 furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Oh, I love MyPillow and how it's changed the way I sleep. So when I heard about the new MyPillow mattress topper, I couldn't wait to try it. Now I don't know if I love MyPillow or the MyPillow mattress topper more. It's that good. Now you can get a great deal on a MyPillow mattress topper and start getting the best sleep of your life. The exclusive 3-layer design includes the MyPillow foam for support, transitional foam to help relieve pressure points, and an ultra-soft patented temperature-regulating cover. It has a 10-year warranty and a cover that's washable and dryable. That's the key. It's made in the U.S. of A. and has Mike Lindell's 60-day money-back guarantee. You'll get the total body support you need and sleep better. And right now, you'll save 30% when you use the promo code Amy. Plus, you'll receive 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free, or you can still receive the buy one, get one free offer if you just want the MyPillows. So visit MyPillow.com, type Amy in that promo code, or call 800-489-0201. For the holidays, you want to go to MyPillow.com. There's wonderful sheets, pillowcases, and there's also those pet beds, which I love because when your dog gets sick, and that did happen over the weekend for Bunky, you can just simply throw it in the washer and dryer. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke. And I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days. And 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. You know, if I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I mean, I feel great. Overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? Well, if so, Permaseal is not the company for you. Permaseal hears story after story of homeowners who say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't want your living room or bedroom getting wet, do you? Then why do you settle with a wet basement? The Permaseal team believes that your basement should be dry no matter how hard it rains. That's right. You can have a permanently dry basement. Just give them a call at 800-421-SEAL. They offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. You know, Roy Spencer started Permaseal back in 1979, and it's still a local Chicagoland family business doing the right thing and standing behind their work. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all of the time, you know who to call. Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325, or just go to permaseal.net.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Potty-mouthed DNC Chairman Tom Perez said bigotry is on the ballot in the midterm election. True, but it's the left's bigotry. The most enduring takeaway from this election cycle is that the left has one and only one solution to every policy challenge: bigot baiting. Spin the wheel, pick an issue, advocate for border security by using the very real example of an illegal immigrant cop killer, and CNN's Kate Bolden calls you a racist. Defend an individual's Second Amendment right to self-protection, and you're conspiring with white supremacists and quote-unquote demonizing Jews, as former DNC Chairman Howard Dean said of President Trump. Support voter ID laws to protect every American's franchise, and you're in the business of preventing poor and black people from voting, said CNN legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin. Exist as a white man, and you're by definition part of the greatest terror threat facing America, per CNN's Don Lemon, and are likely to be radicalized to commit a hate-inspired crime by President Trump, according to GQ's Julia E. Hoffey. The Democrat socialists live at the intersection of vacuous identity politics and mindless rage. It's a dangerous neighborhood and a terrible place to locate a country.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, one note here. This is important. Who's responsible for making sure the ballots are not locked up at 6 a.m.? I live in Marengo in McHenry County.
Yeah.
Showed up at 6:02. Ballots were locked up. The lady was supposed to be there 6:30-ish. Polls open at 6. I was unable to vote because of circumstances. I won't be back to Marengo till 8 p.m. tonight, and I'm unable to vote in this election. So mad. Here's the thing. If your judges don't show up on time, if your polling place doesn't open on time, they can and they should extend the time past 7 p.m. where you can vote for exactly these reasons. So Jackie, who emailed us, and others, if you know this polling place in Marengo, make sure you press the election judges to keep that polling place open for as long as they were tardy in opening it in the first place.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll ask Juan Williams about the media's treatment of one African-American Republican Senate candidate in Michigan named John James at 7:37.
But now let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
48 degrees, cloudy skies. We've had light rain showers throughout the morning. Election day in Illinois. Polls have been open for around 90 minutes. They close at 7 p.m. tonight. The Department of Justice, FBI, Homeland Security all say there's no indication at this moment of tampering that would prevent voting or change vote counts. However, they do warn foreign actors, especially Russia and China, are still trying to influence on the internet with the goal of sowing discord. The line was out the door, and President Donald Trump left them on their feet. President rallying a huge crowd of Republicans in Fort Wayne, Indiana yesterday, and didn't miss the opportunity to point that out to the audience.
If I had one empty seat right up in that corner right there, hello folks, right there. If there was an empty seat, that would be a front page story that we're not drawing the crowds anymore.
His message for Hoosiers: get out and vote, in the president's words, for Mike Braun in a tight race for the U.S. Senate against Indiana Democrat U.S. Senator Joe Donnelly. Cesar Sayoc will make his first appearance in a New York federal courtroom this morning after being extradited from Miami. The remains of a Utah mayor killed in Afghanistan are coming home today. Brent Taylor was killed Saturday serving with the Utah National Guard, the victim of an insider attack by a member of the Afghan forces that left another soldier severely wounded. A man in critical condition after being struck this morning by a CTA Blue Line train on Chicago's west side. The trial of 3 current and former Chicago police officers accused in a cover-up of the deadly police shooting of Laquan McDonald will go forward. There will be a bench trial for David March, Joseph Walsh, and Thomas Gaffney. They're accused of making false reports to cover up for fellow officer Jason Van Dyke. This morning, a Michigan newspaper reporter has been fired after her comments about a Senate candidate went viral. Huron Daily Tribune reporter Brenda Battle apparently called the offices of Senate candidate John James looking for an interview. Apparently thought she'd hung up, but instead was heard on the other end calling James an expletive. She lost her job. It appears her LinkedIn and Facebook pages have since disappeared. Zach LaVine, 41, in the Bulls' 116-115 double overtime victory over the Knicks at MSG. The Blackhawks host the Hurricanes Thursday. The Illinois men's basketball team getting ready to open the regular season this week at home against Evansville. The news service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America, inviting you to take steps for cures at a walk event near you. Support the 1.6 million Americans living with these diseases. And get started at cctakesteps.org. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs. Call now to receive 35% off your first Balance of Nature order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hey, where is Sleepin' Joe Donnelly? A whole caravan of illegal immigrants is headed towards the United States, and Donnelly is silent, not a peep. But in commercials, he pretends to be tough on the border. Ha! Donnelly voted for amnesty and endorsed open borders liberal Hillary Clinton for president.
Sleepy Joe.
Joe Donnelly isn't one of us anymore. He's one of them. Listen to Mike Braun.
Career politicians like Joe Donnelly will say anything to keep their jobs. The truth is, Donnelly voted against Judge Kavanaugh, for the Iran nuclear deal, and even backed Hillary Clinton for president. We deserve better. I spent my career in the real world, creating jobs and getting things done. In Washington, I'll fight to bring back good-paying jobs and fix our health care. I'm Mike Braun. I approve this message, and I ask for your vote.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Get ready to make Range Day more awesome. Here's the perfect gift for the gun owner on your list, or for yourself, a Hackett Equipment Range backpack. The Hackett Equipment Range backpack comes in 3 styles of Covert quality range backpacks that hold 2 to 4 pistols and carry a lifetime warranty. There's also an attachable rifle bag, tactical shooting glasses, all at affordable prices. You can even join the Hackett Equipment Army with a Hackett Equipment Pocket Pistol t-shirt. Hackett Equipment is a Chicago-based company that shares your values, and they'd like to share a smoking hot discount just for AM 560 listeners. Get 20% off all Hackett Equipment online products for a limited time with promo code AM 560. Plus, all orders over $100 receive free shipping on top of your 20% discount. Make trips to the shooting range easier and more fun by taking everything you need for a day at the range hands-free. Visit gunrangebags.com and see for yourself why Hackett Equipment bags have endless 5-star reviews. Have a blast at the shooting range and save 20% plus free shipping on orders over $100 with promo code AM560. Gunrangebags.com, promo code AM560.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Megan Crane. A weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
7:37 on AM 560. Well, we told you about the Illini opening up this week. Loyola opens up tonight. They have the Kangaroos of UMKC at the Gentile Center, so a busy night in the Edgewater neighborhood this evening, voters and Loyola basketball. Let's get an update on those roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Kennedy and Mandalay start at Nagle. It is 55 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 26 from Montrose, 24 in the Express. Outbound 52 to the airport. Aiden's 23 minutes, Lake Cook Junction. Outbound 28. The Eisenhower's an hour and 2 minutes, 390 to downtown. 48 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 45 to 390. Stevenson an hour and 2 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40 minutes. Ryan 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57 39 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Division 425. Southbound Tri-State, so 120 to Bradley. Northbound Cicero to 31st and from the Reagan to Balmoral. Northbound Veterans Memorial, it's slow going. 159th, 143rd. 75th most to the way to St. Charles and from the Army Trail toll to 290. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, cloudy, windy, a high near 50 today. Currently clouds and 48. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Dan and Amy, just some facts to inform the D.C. press corps coverage of some of these issues. DHS putting out information, Department of Homeland Security, on the migrant caravan.
Yeah.
They have 270 people that are among those caravanners.
Yeah, the latest I heard was 12,000.
Well, right, but of that 12,000, they've identified at least 270 who have criminal histories, known gang membership. They also suggest that there are individuals from more than 20 countries included in the caravan, including Somalia, India, Haiti, Afghanistan, Bangladesh. That's not to say anything about anybody from those countries one way or the other than to say that the idea that people from around the world don't look to our southern border as their entry point for the United States, that's dismissed by the left. It's fact. So that's the caravan, which obviously has been a major issue in the closing weeks and days of this campaign. And then there's, just the left's civility, since sharp words or actions are a one-way street, according to the D.C. press corps, the predominant view. Marsha Blackburn hung in effigy in Shelbyville, Tennessee. A figure of her with her name on it, X over Marsha, and a dunce cap hanging from a tree in Shelbyville. And then this little, message from a reporter to U.S. Army veteran John James, who's the Republican nominee for Senate in Michigan. Ready for this? It's dangerous when a reporter doesn't know how to work a phone. She can get herself in a lot of trouble, which is what Brenda Battle did, a reporter with the Huron Daily Tribune, calling to leave a message to schedule an interview with candidate James.
Hi, my name is Brenda Battle. I am a reporter with the Huron Daily Tribune in Bad Axe, Michigan. Looking to set up an appointment with Mr. James for sometime on Wednesday for a phone interview regarding the election results. I'm probably going to send an email over to the info@johnjamesforsenate.com with some details. If you'd like to call me back, my number is 989. Thank you.
Man, if he beats her, Jesus. John James. Whew, that would suck.
Oh.
I don't think it's going to happen, though.
Oh.
Effing John James is what the reporter said. So maybe you can understand, maybe if you don't want to use the phrase enemy of the people, okay. How about enemy of Republicans' electoral interests? Is that fair? Is Brenda Battle
Does she still have a job this morning?
Not an objective scrivener on the campaign trail, assessing both Stabenow and James on the merits, do you wonder?
I mean, she should learn to hang up the phone, but I'm glad she didn't, because now you know how she really feels.
I mean, how many examples do we need for more on these topics and so many more? We're pleased to be joined by our friend Juan Williams, Fox News contributor, columnist for The Hill. The Juan Williams, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. It's a big day in America.
It is. I wanted to start with something where we have common ground, and then it can devolve into madness from there. So Juan Williams is a pro-school choice Democrat. And so I wanted to get your take on governor's races in places like Wisconsin and Illinois here in Florida, where you have Democrat nominees for governor that are vowing to eliminate the successful school choice programs in all three of those states?
Well, I'd be opposed. As you said, I'm pro school choice in specific charter schools. I have some qualms about vouchers in terms of where they go and the kind of very segregationist schools, both by gender and religion and all the rest. My focus is on trying to deliver for America's kids the best quality education. That's why I get into trouble with all the unions, because I think they're about protecting jobs for the adults, and I think the number one priority should be educating the kids.
Right, and so, I mean, do you think that's enough of an issue in terms of importance that it's, borders on litmus test worthy?
No, obviously not. I mean, even in the campaigns that you're talking about, it's not near to the number one issue.
No, I'm talking about for you. I'm not talking about whether it is on the issue matrix. I'm just talking what it should be, not what it is.
Oh, well, to me, I mean, in my life, I mean, I take this very personally, because in my life, I don't think I would be anywhere if I hadn't been the beneficiary of a first-class education. When we talk about things like poverty, when we talk about income inequality in specific, so much of this relates to people who have been denied or somehow lack education. And I just think, and especially a quality education, I just don't see how we, in a global economy as a nation, can have a positive future if our young people aren't prepared to compete. We're not even close when it comes to the STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We are trailing the rest of the world. It's crazy.
All right, so there you go. Juan Williams saying vote for Scott Walker.
No, I did not say that.
I'm kidding. I know.
All right, so we played the audio of Brenda Battle, that reporter, who, by the way, was fired this morning from her job. But then you have your colleague, Sean Hannity, up there last night with President Trump. What did you make of that? Was it a little too close?
Yeah, it made me uncomfortable. I mean, clearly it's not my decision. That's up to Sean Hannity, and it's up to Fox News. Sean had tweeted earlier that he wasn't going to be part of the rally, that, in fact, that he was just doing a show from there. But the president invited him onto the stage.
Well, right. But let's just, Sean Hannity and somebody who holds himself out as an objective reporter are two different things. One has a show, it has a particular point of view that is wholly transparent. The other, in the case of this reporter in Michigan and just in general, is the pantomime of objectivity to mask an agenda. So the difference between Sean Hannity and Brenda Battle in Huron, Michigan, or wherever, is one of transparency. Isn't that fair, Juan?
No, I
Why
think
not?
that I don't understand what happened there in terms of firing this reporter. I think lots of people, including the two of you, me, Sean Hannity, we could go on, have our personal political views.
Right.
It doesn't stop us from then treating people fairly or doing a job. Her job is to be a reporter. I think most reporters, it's been proven in this country, are liberal.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that you don't pick up the paper and expect a certain level of professionalism in the delivery of the news content. But, I think what this was, maybe this is embarrassing to the company. I don't know if it was the use of the profanity. I don't know what went on there. But to me, that the idea that somebody has a political view does not disqualify them from doing their job.
No, I completely agree. It's just the unnerving nature of lying about it, pretending that you don't. Of course you have a political point of view. Of course that informs the stories you choose and how you choose to cover them. So be honest about it, and then we can have an honest conversation. But when you pretend...
No, I have a different point of view on that.
Well,
because I think so much of it is about the audience, and a lot of times people will cater to the audience, but my fear is that sometimes they pander to the worst instincts in the audience in terms of the racial division, the anti-immigrant kind of drivel. We just saw ads pulled from major networks, including Fox, put out by the Trump campaign that, again, just full of lies about the caravan, and they put up this guy who had killed some police officers and make him the thing. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
So Fox News 8, you guys aired that. So did NBC for Sunday Night Football. Do you think you guys were dragging your heels before taking that ad down?
What do you mean dragging
Well,
out?
I mean, why did it take so long for Fox News if they felt this way? Why didn't they feel this way weeks ago when they started airing that ad?
Well, I think people had to look at it, and the thing is, there's always resistance to silencing any kind of political advertising. You want to make sure everybody gets their say, but it's when it crosses the line into this hatefulness and lies. I mean, clearly, not only is the caravan a humanitarian issue, it's no threat to us. It's not an invasion. They're not carrying diseases. There's no MS-13 army approaching the. I mean, it's just ridiculous. There's thousands of miles from the border, but this has become the go-to message for Trump because he doesn't have any other message. And it's just incredible to me how many people are sufficiently gullible to say, oh, that must be the issue. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. But the idea that then you lie about it and say Democrats let this criminal in fact, he was deported by Democrats, back in by Republicans, not deported by Sheriff Arpaio, a Republican icon, and then they put that in an ad. It's just tragic that this kind of trash gets on the air.
Well, so is Andrew Sullivan a bigot too? Because Andrew Sullivan wrote a piece in the New York Magazine over the weekend chastising Democrats for pretending that immigration is an issue that they can ignore. And it is noteworthy that even Beto O'Rourke in El Paso has pretended that he needs time to study this issue of what to do about the caravan. Democrats have been running from this issue in terms of what their policy prescription is since the caravan formed.
Well, I don't think that's right at all. In fact, I think what you see is
that's what he
Democrats saying that this is a humanitarian issue. We need to deal with the source of the problem. We don't need to demonize people unnecessarily, and reminding people, this is so important to me, that we are a nation of immigrants. We want people who have energy and desire. Ronald Reagan, if you'll recall, said he believed in border security walls, but he said every wall should have an open door. And these people are coming seeking asylum. Nobody's threatening us. Nobody's saying we shouldn't have laws. Democrats don't believe in open borders, but this is the kind of rhetoric you're hearing.
They don't. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez specifically does, and there are Democrats that want to eliminate ICE. And the whole, I mean, if you a policy solution, we need to address it at the cause. What does that mean? We need to turn Guatemala into Texas? Well, that's not going to happen. So what do you?
No, we don't send foreign aid to countries around the world. We don't get involved with our neighbors.
No.
Trade deals.
What kind of short to medium term solution is saying we're going to turn Guatemala and Honduras and other struggling third world countries into economic engines? What do you do about the reality on the ground right now with our porous southern border, well beyond the caravan? Just as a general matter of course, Republican administrations, Democrat administrations, the number of people in this country deported multiple times, the number of people in this country who've committed violent crimes, including against other immigrants, and nobody ever seems to get a handle on it. This isn't a Republican-Democrat thing. It's part of the reason Trump got elected, because both parties have abdicated the responsibility, the national security responsibility on the southern border, and people are tired of it. And that's not racist. That's reasonable. That's rational.
That is so irrational. I don't even know where to begin because you've packed so many misconceptions and distortions in there. Number one, our southern border is not porous. In fact, immigration has been going down for the last 20 years on that southern border. We have increased security, the number of agents, the technology from drones to electronic sensors to fencing, all true. And if you really think about it, when George W. Bush tried to pass immigration reform, who stopped him? The far right. When we had a gang of six under President Obama, in other words, bipartisan support in the Senate for immigration reform, who stopped it? The Republican majority in the House, and specific the Freedom Caucus. So I don't even know where to begin with you in that kind of rant because, again, it misleads your audience.
Right.
And it makes them think, oh, it's those evil Democrats. Are you kidding me? This is Republican intransigence to deal with an issue about immigration reform. And most people, by the way, who are illegally in the U.S. of A. don't come through the southern border. They come on airplanes. They overstay visas. 40%. But I don't see anybody dealing with that reality. Instead, they want to somehow make these poor, struggling folks coming up into evil, folks. It's terrible.
Yeah, well, first of all, that's demagoguery, number one. Number two, 40% isn't a majority. That's what comes through our airports, overstays visas, but at least they come into the country illegally at the outset, so you can track them. We need to do a better job of that. It's always been my position. Number two, we're not demonizing people from a particular country. We're saying... And I'm saying that there are people who come to this country. We don't know why they're coming. They've been deported and they somehow get back in. They've committed crimes. This is going back to the Obama administration and the exchanges between ICE Director Saldana and Ted Cruz, where she conceded the point. Somebody from Texas, Saldana, in addition to Cruz, conceded the point of the tens of thousands of people in this country illegally who've committed Class X felonies. It's not the majority of the 12 to 20 million people. It's a small fraction, and a small fraction of a big number is a big problem. And neither party, you must not have heard what I said, neither party has been willing to address that even basic issue of removing people who commit violent crimes from this country and making sure they do not return and preventing people who are inclined to commit violent crimes from coming in the first place. Neither party has done the job. It's one of the reasons Trump got elected. And because, Republicans punted on the comprehensive immigration reform that was proposed previously, that doesn't mean anything in terms of addressing the fundamental problem. Nobody is willing to talk about the underlying immigration law that I'd like to see change, and I'd like to be liberalized, and I'd like to bring more people here who want to add value to this country. But nobody's willing to talk about that, including me, until you accomplish the one thing every politician says they want to accomplish with respect to predators who get into this country and can then come back to this country after committing illegal acts. And both parties have failed on that, which is why Trump was elected the president of the United States.
Well, if you want to play racial, hateful, xenophobic politics, you
that?
can say, oh, yeah,
how
the American people will play that game. But there's no reality of what you're saying. In fact, the crime rate among illegal immigrants is lower than the crime rate among native-born Americans.
It should be zero.
It
should be zero.
Again, this is so distorting. But again, you feed this kind of thing to your listeners to stir them up on Election Day, because you don't have anything else. Because if you look at the Trump record when it comes to immigration, again, nothing.
I don't have anything else. I could talk about jobs.
Failure.
I could talk about jobs and economic growth for this entire segment. I don't have anything else.
Yeah,
I
what
can
are you
talk about
going to say?
deregulation.
In fact, more jobs were created in the 21-month period under Obama than in the 21-month period under Trump. Are you going to tell people that?
Okay, Juan, it's just data, but data's racist when it doesn't comport with your worldview. Juan Williams,
it's racist to say more jobs were created under Obama than under Trump? That's racist.
Yeah, okay. Juan Williams, Fox News contributor. Thanks for joining us, Juan.
He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear special election night coverage tonight, beginning at 7. Then talk about it with Dan and Amy tomorrow morning, starting at 5 a.m. on your election station, AM 560. The Answer.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, MUELLER, CPA.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I don't respect this president.
The radical liberals in Washington will do anything to stop the president's agenda to make America great again.
I don't trust this president.
They would rather see the country fail.
His motives and his actions are contemptible.
Then fix the problems facing our nation.
And I will fight every day until he is impeached. Impeach 45. Impeach 45.
But Julie Olthoff isn't waiting around for the career politicians in Washington to deliver solutions. Julie Olthoff believes our conservative ideas will give us prosperity and preserve the American dream. That's why Julie has worked with Governor Holcomb to balance Indiana's budget, cut taxes for hardworking Hoosiers, and fully fund the next 20 years of building and maintaining our roads and bridges. Julie Olthoff and Governor Eric Holcomb have Indiana on the right track. Vote Julie Olthoff for state representative on or before November 6th.
Paid for by voters for Julie Olthoff.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you. Or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Wednesday, November 7th at Papa Joe's Restaurant in Orland Park. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar, Wednesday, November 7th at 6:30 at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400, 708-478-1400.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Americans can now vote in 43 states. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Can't stop Trump from your couch. We can only do it by coming out to vote.
Senator Bob Menendez hopes to be reelected in New Jersey, the Democrat there, while in Florida, Republican Governor Rick Scott's trying to flip a blue seat red.
There's a lot of big talkers in D.C. I'm going to be a doer. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a big win today.
Fox's Evan Brown's live at a polling place in Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Yeah, Dave, a steady stream of people have been coming here to the Southwest Regional Library to cast their ballots.
Super easy. It's my second time voting at this precinct since I moved into the neighborhood, and it's always been empty election day, so it's always nice to go and vote. I was in and out in about 10 minutes.
Tim voted. Now he's off to work. Maria, too.
Make a change. Try to make a significant change in what's going on overall.
Though a number of people are leaving with frustrated looks on their faces, their precinct had moved and they didn't know they're being given the right address. The races are tight here in Florida and in Missouri. Live now to St. Louis and Fox's Jeff Manasso.
Evan, President Trump marked the end of his midterm argument with a second trip this week to Missouri last night.
America's extraordinary comeback is the envy of the entire world. The whole world is talking about. We're the hottest nation in the world.
And like many other states, early voting in the midterms has surged, and we've seen some long lines already as voters here are now deciding in a pivotal U.S. Senate race between incumbent Democrat Claire McCaskill and rival Republican Josh Hawley. Dave?
And Jeff, Democrats need to flip 23 Republican seats to win the House. In the Senate, they need to win 2 more seats to take control there. One of the states where the polls just opened this morning is Montana. There's a tight Senate race there as well, but voters will have to deal with some wintry weather. Could be stormy in the South and Mid-Atlantic. There have been already damaging tornadoes in Mississippi and in Tennessee, where a woman was killed overnight when a house collapsed in Rutherford County. This is Fox News.
Gray skies this morning. We've had light rain showers on this election day. 48 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Races on the ballot until 7 p.m. tonight or later, as the case may be, for governor, Congress, comptroller, attorney general, all members of the Illinois House, and a number of seats in the state Senate. Illinois election managers tell us they believe it's way too soon to say if huge early voting numbers are just people getting their vote out of the way. Retiring Cook County Clerk David Orr said it remains to be seen if early voting numbers are part of a larger overall uptick or just part of a early vote pattern. In other news we're following this morning, one man is in critical condition after he was struck by a CTA Blue Line train on Chicago's west side. The train's conductor was taken to Stroger Hospital as a precaution as well. Chicago police are investigating after a suburban woman was found dead over the weekend in the far northwest side home of a former Chicago police officer. Authorities say Hillary Tesman's body was discovered by the ex-officer in the 6500 block of North Onarga Avenue. Cause of death not been released. You may recall that home was the scene of a 12-hour standoff last year involving the former officer who was hospitalized following the incident. A man in critical condition at this hour after a vehicle crashes into a retention pond in New Lenox. The accident happened late last night in the 200 block of Veterans Parkway. Bulls a double overtime win over the Knicks, 116-115. It's 8:03. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, we could find out Amazon's new headquarters plans as early as this week. Multiple reports now say Amazon will split its headquarters into 2 locations so it can recruit the best tech talent. The Wall Street Journal says the final list includes Crystal City, Virginia, Dallas, and Long Island City in Queens, New York. Toyota may be dropping some models with weak sales. It could discontinue the Yaris subcompact. Toyota, like other auto companies, is seeing growing sales of sport utility vehicles. Under Armour executives and employees can no longer expense visits to strip clubs. The Wall Street Journal says over the years, staffers and even Chairman Kevin Plank went with athletes or co-workers to the clubs. The Dow was up 190 yesterday. NASDAQ dropped 28. The S&P was up 15. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hi, this is Congressman Randy Hultgren. I want to tell you why I'm running for re-election to the U.S. House of Representatives and to ask for your support. I've accomplished a lot during my time in Congress. We have the lowest unemployment in years and a record number of new jobs. We've cut taxes, passed regulatory reform, put ISIS on their heels, and repealed the individual mandate of Obamacare. But there's still a lot to be done, and that's why I'm asking for your vote. We need healthcare reform that lowers costs and expands choices while continuing to protect the coverage of those with pre-existing conditions, which I've worked for and supported my entire career. We must reduce the size and scope as well as the cost of the federal government, and we have to protect programs for our seniors and veterans. You don't have to wait until November 6th to cast your vote. You can vote today at any one of the early voting locations in your county. For more information and to help find the location in your neighborhood, visit randyhultgren.com/early voting. I'm so grateful for your continued support, and together we will keep working for the 14th District and for Illinois, paid for by Hultgren for Congress.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
It's 8:08. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
In Hanover Park, southbound Connie Farm is closed Ontarioville to Stearns due to a crash. Edens runs 23 minutes like Cook to Montrose, southbound 26. Kennedy, 55 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 36 from Montrose, 31 in the Express, outbound 51 minutes to the airport. On Eisenhower jammed, Wolf to the Burn Circle, an hour and 2 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound it's 45 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 40 minutes. The Ryan, 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound tri-state delays are 120 to Bradley, from the Adams Tollway to Irving Park. Northbound Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Reagan Tollway, slow 59 to Yackley, southbound 53. Stop and go northwest highway to Higgins. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A windy day today, gusts up to 35 miles per hour. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with a high 50. Still breezy tonight, wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour in the evening. Otherwise, turning out to be partly cloudy, and it will be colder with a low 33. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560 The Answer.
48 degrees at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So I tried to be reasonable with Juan Williams. I really did. We started out talking about school choice where there's some general agreement.
Yeah, and then it took a turn.
Well,
I loved it. It was very engaging. It was great radio.
It's also instructive of the problem. And I think the motivator for a lot of Trump voters in 16, I hope today again. You know, I'm just tired of it. You don't like data, so it's racist, and you're a purveyor of racism or demonizing people because you're talking about numbers. You're trying to address an actual public policy problem, but you don't like that it's an actual public policy problem, so you just engage in bigot baiting. I mean, that's why Juan is still a member of the Democrat Party, despite all of his civil rights talk about school choice, because at the end of the day, he just falls back on bigot baiting, which is what he did here. These numbers are fiction. I mean, just a couple of numbers, and I'll take your calls. U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
Right.
They're making up these numbers according to Juan Williams' conspiracy theory. 521,090 foreigners either apprehended or turned away at the southern border in fiscal year 2018, which ended in September. 521,000 people is not an inconsequential number.
No, it's not.
So
and they have people that have infiltrated this caravan that's on its way here that they know that they're known gang members, that they know that they're from 20 different countries, but the facts didn't fit his narrative.
It's not even about the caravan. I mean, again, go back to, and I mentioned this to him, but he was too busy calling me a racist on reforming immigration law. This exchange between Ted Cruz and Obama's ICE director, Sandy Saldana, back 3 years ago. They went back and forth about the number of convicted criminal illegal aliens released back into the public in America. 193 murderers with homicide convictions, 426 people with sexual assault convictions, 16,000 criminal illegal aliens with drunk driving convictions, released in 2014 instead of being deported or undergoing criminal proceedings. Cruz actually suggested the numbers that were released by ICE were off by a factor of 3. But whether it's 30,000 or 104,000, as they sort of went back and forth about during this hearing, it's 30,000 or 104,000 too many. And I know no system is perfect, is completely fail-safe, but there's not even any serious interest in addressing this problem because you won't admit it exists. And for somebody to point out that it exists, like, I don't know, Kate Steinle's family, that's racist to point it out? Or that's just, you just get the wave off and, that's dismissed. Oh, you're demagoguing the issue. A cop killer in California, deported multiple times back in this country, kills 2 Sacramento deputies. Oh, that's race baiting. No, it's not. Just as I would want Anders Breivik, if he had tried to emigrate from Norway into this country, stopped and turned away. For those of you who don't remember, Breivik is the lunatic who killed like 77 people at that summer camp in Norway. I don't care if it's from Scandinavia or Central America or Asia. Doesn't matter. It's the standard. And Juan Williams and the left wants no standards. Democrats aren't for open borders. You got half the Democrat Party running around talking about eliminating ICE. What's he talking about? It's just so difficult to have an honest conversation because all the left has, even though Juan Williams is generally an affable guy, is bigot baiting, and those that are less congenial than Juan are just screeching hate. That's all they have to offer. Shelby Steele nailed it in the Wall Street Journal a few weeks ago, and Juan Williams presented it last hour. Honestly, it's so frustrating. I tell you,
He thinks you're the one that's bigot baiting.
Well, and you think, and I mean, you think I'm going to be silent or intimidated by somebody calling me a racist or a misogynist or all the other isms and phobias the left likes to bandy about? Yeah. But a lot of other people are, and they internalize it, and they wait for their opportunity to send a message, and they send a message on Election Day at the ballot box. And I hope people do that again today the way they did in 2016. Mike in Geneva, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Boy, I'm almost getting all worked up again. I just cooled down and felt like I needed a Gatorade from the last episode. But I'll tell you what, it's fascinating. All I can say is wow, wow, wow. Like it starts off amicable. You've had Juan on many times. Of course, you guys disagree. But right from the get-go, he was going to fight it about the reporter in Michigan, and it just went from there. It's like, you need to put out the information, stop, what are the facts? More counter-reply, stop, what are the facts? At the end of the day, you weren't going to win that. You could see where that was headed, and it, like you say, it really paints the picture. I like Juan Williams, but it just shows you what we're up against, and things devolve quickly.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Appreciate it. Ralph in Rantoul.
Hey, good morning. That was really fun, Dan. And you do try to be nice to your guests that you have when they call in, and that's a great thing, right? Because you like having guests. But Juan can't be truthful, so that when he is presented with facts, you're right. He just starts calling names. That just throws out the racist slander, which is unfair, untrue, cheap. Dishonest, and I just wonder how long Juan's contract is going to, how long his contract still is in Fox, so that he can slide on over to CNN or MSNBC, which he seems, I think he would be more comfortable with those guys.
No, it's good to have a difference.
Thanks
of
for the call,
opinions
Ralph.
On a panel. So
Well,
I think Fox
it is.
needs them.
It is. I mean, plus, I don't think MSNBC would take him as long as he supports school choice, even modest school choice programs. It's dangerous thinking. It's a thought crime to the left. Dawn in Plainfield.
Hi, good morning, and thanks for taking my call. I'm a very intelligent listener, and I don't need Juan Williams, and I don't need Dan Proft to tell me what the reality on the ground is. So here's the reality. Over the past decade, I've seen school districts' budgets plummet. They are hurting for money, big time. And so I'm sorry, you can't tell me that illegal immigration doesn't impact American children. And you want to know who it impacts the most? It impacts children with disabilities. So I'm sorry, Juan, you are wrong. You know what? The state of Illinois, which Barack Obama came from, runs almost last for funding with children with disabilities. So I'm sorry. You want to put your head in the sand? This is why Trump won, because you ignore the reality on the ground. And you know what? Maybe you're racist against children with disabilities, because that's the reality. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate that.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm talking about, telling me that what I'm experiencing is not to be believed. And if I communicate what I'm experiencing, then I'm a racist if it doesn't comport with leftist orthodoxy. People are tired of it. You get tired of getting pushed around, especially when you're right and they're wrong. They're trying to gaslight you. You're not experiencing what you're experiencing. Don't believe your lying eyes. Believe our soaring rhetoric. Yeah, okay. Art and McHenry.
Tony on the streets.
Hey, Art.
Morning. I am sick and tired of people like Juan Williams that act like they know these people personally. They know nothing about these people. Nothing. We have no idea what their intentions are. When they came into Mexico, they didn't wait for permission. They busted down the gates, and they forced themselves in. And now they're working their way toward our border. We have no idea what their intentions are. They say they're coming here for a better life for money, but we don't know that.
Yeah,
We
well,
don't know that.
thanks for the call, Art. And here's the thing about going back. I mean, DHS, 270 people we've identified as having criminal records or ties to gangs. The Mexican ambassador to the United States says some of the people in the caravan are very violent. It's measured. I'm going by what we know to be true, at least with people who are in a much better position to know the truth than I am, like the Department of Homeland Security. You don't want to believe them, fine. But at least admit you just don't believe their statistics and you're just going to make up your own story rather than just throwing around racist name calling. I mean, it's beneath Juan, frankly. Charlotte in Arlington Heights.
Hi. I don't know if Juan Williams distinguished between legal and illegal immigrants in regard to crime rate. Yeah, the legal immigrants have a lower crime rate than for the average, for American average. But the illegal immigrants have a much higher, including a violent crime rate. This is an Arizona study.
Yeah, but Charlotte, it doesn't even matter because they shouldn't be here. I don't care. I mean, that's the sort of, you have to need to attack Juan Williams' premise. This is like, let's stipulate illegal immigrants have a lower crime rate than American citizens. Let's just say that's true. So what?
Right.
One crime committed by a person here illegally is one crime too many because they shouldn't be here to commit the crime in the first place. That's the
Right.
bottom line.
By the way, Sarah Carter, didn't she go down to the Honduras border and say it was very dangerous down there? Women were being assaulted. This march was a very dangerous thing.
Yeah, for sure.
She saw tattoos and gang members, and she was right. She risked her own life to participate in the march and interview people. She's, I guess, fluent in Spanish.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Charlotte. I mean, and I love the wave off, too, from the left, this position. We need to address the root cause of the problem. Okay, you want to turn Honduras and Guatemala into Hong Kong. Tell me how long you think that's going to take. And what do you want to do about it in the interim? It is so disingenuous. They are so cavalier with other people's lives and livelihoods. That is the lesson of the Democrat Party. The hate is part of it, and a lot of people have picked up on that. How cavalier they are with your life and your livelihood is what really should be internalized. Lori in Benton Harbor, Michigan.
Hi, I heard your story earlier regarding this Brenda battle at the Huron Daily Tribune. I actually called over there and talked to the editor.
Oh, you
She
did?
said that this reporter's views do not reflect the paper's views, and they have terminated her.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the
mentioned
call,
that.
Lori.
She's been let go.
You know what? I'm sure she was let go because this became
Oh,
very
of
public.
course.
I bet Brenda Battle's views do represent the views of those at the Huron Daily, whatever the heck it is, though. I bet they do. That's the problem.
Hear special election night coverage tonight, beginning at 7. Then talk about it with Dan and Amy tomorrow morning, starting at 5 a.m. on your election station, AM 560. The Answer.
Winners don't wait for chances. They take them, seizing opportunities that come their way, having the courage necessary to make the game-winning play when it's all on the line. It's what sets us apart from the rest. Your home for Husky basketball is right here on the Northern Illinois Husky Sports Network.
Your NIU Huskies take on the Northern Kentucky Norse this Friday at 6. NIU basketball is on AM 560. The Answer.
Yeah, some breaking news. Coach Q from the Blackhawks has just been fired, and Dan is trying to process that.
What?
Yeah, they just announced it that Coach Q.
3 Stanley Cups aren't enough? I mean,
I guess not.
what, did he?
Mike Scott, what do you know?
What did he like go to a Trump rally or something?
I
What-
don't. 5 losses in a row. I'm not quite sure.
It's November.
It's November.
I know.
It's
What the
November
hell?
6th.
The team struggled. Honestly, the team struggled a bit last year, and at the end of the year before.
Well, they didn't make the playoffs last year.
So, in 5 losses in a row after a 6-2 start, Could be trying to light a fire under a team that has one last chance to make it to the Stanley Cup. Teams have done less and made it a little further.
Yeah, I'm
so.
sure he won't be out of work long, but yeah, Coach Q
Holy
gone.
cow.
The Blackhawks.
Hinsdale and Morning this morning.
Oh, I'm sure they loved him. Here you go.
Yep.
Here's your live read for Storlock.
I don't know if I can
I
form
know,
the
look at-
words between Juan Williams
you're
and Joel
rattled.
and Coach Q. I mean, holy.
Well, they picked the right day to do it, I guess. People are distracted.
Oh my gosh.
You
Fall
all right?
is here, like Quenville's fall.
Oh,
And so
too
are those
soon,
weekend
man.
cleanup projects. It's also the perfect opportunity to get organized with Storlock Modular Systems, the best tool cabinet you'll ever buy. Storlock makes it easy and simple. It's fully assembled when it ships, so you get organized fast. Durable Storlock Modular Systems are built the old-fashioned way, made to order exactly how you want it. Order your custom system that's powder-coated in-house in any color you want. They're 100% crafted in the USA and feature dividers, liners, and layouts, all made with quality materials, including steel ball bearings and heat-treated steel rollers. Storlock is so strong that each drawer holds up to 400 pounds. Storlock fits any home or business and will last a lifetime with its 55-year top-to-bottom warranty. Order today and receive your system in about 4 weeks. Call 1-800-STORLOCK. That's 1-800-STORLOC. And check out storlock.com for upcoming events.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hello, voters of DuPage County. My name is Chris Randall, and I'm a veteran of 2 combat deployments. Today, I'm speaking with you about the toughest and best commander I've ever had, Kevin Wiley. He's running for DuPage County District 6 County Board. I've been in some tough situations in my life and served with some of the finest Americans in our nation. And I can confidently say today that Kevin Wiley was the finest commander I've ever worked for. In an army of great leaders, he was primus inter pares, first among equals. Please vote for my friend and commander, Kevin Wiley, for DuPage County District 6.
Paid for by Wiley for DuPage County.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
This stuff is the best stuff I've ever taken. I don't take any medicine. I take nothing. If I get a little scratchy throat or even a headache, I take the vegetables. It works very fast. Or I'm feeling like a little down, tired, I take 3 of them, 4 of them, and I'm right up back to where I was. It's unreal how this stuff works, and I rave about it. This guy's a genius when it comes down to it. If anyone's skeptical about taking something, I get it. There's thousands of products out there. Look, you can be confident in this because one thing that makes me really happy about is that you guys make the capsule out of a plant-based product. It's not crap. It's real food, like you would put on the dinner table.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
What if you could enjoy total peace of mind when it comes to home security? What if the best technology came from a local company who puts the customer's needs first? Alarm Detection Systems is the right choice for an alarm system with complete control from your phone or tablet. Know when your children arrive home from school. View live streaming video. Check up on your pets. Receive alerts for extreme temperatures. Know if leaks or floods have been detected. Get real-time text alerts sent to your phone. Family-owned and operated since 1968, Alarm Detection Systems understands that nothing is more important than the safety of your family. Your security system will be monitored by our central station in Aurora, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Our on-site security consultation is always free. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6322. That's 630-844-6322. Alarm license number 127000143.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank. I'd like to thank our customers for selecting Signature as their trusted banking partner to help build their businesses. We started Signature in 2006, and we've had the opportunity to meet so many hardworking Chicagoans. From third-generation family-owned businesses on the west side of Chicago to tech innovators at 1871. Signature Bank is proud to work across many different industries in the city and beyond. As the fastest growing, independently owned business bank in Chicago, Signature is always welcoming new customers. I'd love to meet you and learn about your business.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I'm definitely feeling better because now that I'm feeling better, I have more energy to be able to do more things. Before I couldn't, I was in severe pain with my back and I really couldn't function without taking an ibuprofen. And I haven't had to do that.
The first day energy level was up by about 30%. Stamina was probably up 40%. Alertness was probably 20-25%. Afternoons, I'd get groggy, doggy. Just in 2 days, that is gone.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Here come the Hawks. No, it's too soon.
Really?
We're mourning the loss of Coach Q, Joe Quenneville, fired.
He got fired, yeah. He didn't die.
He might as well have. Not with the Hawks
I'm
anymore.
sure he feels awful this morning because fans loved him, players loved him. He was successful. He just had a bad start to the year. Come on.
I haven't done this.
Blackhawks?
I haven't done this since the late '80s, but I am going to grow a mustache in honor of Joe Quenneville, the same way I did when Dick was fired.
Somebody put on Twitter, pray for Coach Q's
You really
mustache.
do have to pray for the I hope the mustache gets through it.
I hope so, too. Coming up on a very special edition of Dan and Amy.
Well, it seems, I don't know, do we even care about the election anymore?
Yes, Dan, we care.
I can finish the show. All right.
Polls are open. Go vote.
Going to have to get amped back up with C.S. Tucker. C. Stephen Tucker joins us with an update on health insurance in the private marketplace, regardless of outcome today. He'll give you all of the details to keep you informed, as he always does, at 8:30.
And not only is she not a working nurse, possible voter fraud for Underwood. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Gray skies, 48 degrees, and light rain showers. Blackhawks have indeed fired head coach Joe Quenneville this morning, naming Jeremy Colleton to replace him, making him the 38th head coach in franchise history. Hawks have also fired assistants Kevin Dineen and Ulf Samuelsson. Barry Smith was named as an assistant on Colleton's staff. Quenneville was the second winningest coach in Blackhawks history, 452 and 249 since 2008. Has the best playoff record in Blackhawks history. His teams have made the playoffs in 9 of 10 seasons, and he was the longest tenured head coach in the NHL. Colleton is 33, now the youngest head coach in the NHL. 12 games into his second season with the Rockford Ice Hogs. He did have an 8-year career primarily in the NHL and the AHL. We're watching developments this morning in France where security agents have arrested 6 on preliminary terrorism charges. They were plotting an attack on French President Emmanuel Macron and others, according to a French judicial official. You may recall that many heads of state are heading to France later this week to celebrate the end of World War I. The official, speaking on condition of anonymity, says the 6 were in 3 widely scattered regions of France. It is Election Day in Illinois. Polls have been open since 6 a.m. They close at 7. Early voting numbers are at record levels in Cook County and in the city of Chicago, the suburbs and the city, where County Clerk David Orr and the Chicago Board of Election Commissioners say records were broken. A man is in critical condition after being struck by a CTA Blue Line train on Chicago's west side. And another developing story we're following, 2 condemned multiple murderers, including one serial killer, apparently committed suicide within hours of each other on the nation's largest death row in California. Corrections officials say they found Andrew Urdiales, 54, unresponsive during a security check at San Quentin State Prison last Friday. You may recall Urdiales was previously convicted of killing 2 Illinois women from Hammond and a woman from Chicago, Lynn Humer, in the mid-1990s. It was former Illinois Governor George Ryan that commuted his sentence to life in prison in 2002 off death row. Zach LaVine, 41. Bulls double overtime winners over the Knicks, 116-115. The news, a service of the Illinois Bone and Joint Institute. Illinois' Bone and Joint Institute has more advanced fellowship-trained physicians than any other orthopedic practice in the Midwest and the most comprehensive medical, diagnostic, and rehabilitative services. Visit ibji.com to learn more. 8:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains the left's ideal situation.
Remember Nancy Pelosi? Did she see that once where we could sit back and write poetry and compose music? This is the ideal, that somehow you will be fed, clothed, housed without actually doing anything. It's character destroying, socialism.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hey, where is Sleepin' Joe Donnelly? A whole caravan of illegal immigrants is headed towards the United States, and Donnelly is silent, not a peep. But in commercials, he pretends to be tough on the border. Ha! Donnelly voted for amnesty and endorsed open borders liberal Hillary Clinton for president.
Sleepy Joe.
Joe Donnelly isn't one of us anymore. He's one of them. Listen to Mike Braun.
Career politicians like Joe Donnelly will say anything to keep their jobs. The truth is, Donnelly voted against Judge Kavanaugh, for the Iran nuclear deal, and even backed Hillary Clinton for president. We deserve better. I spent my career in the real world, creating jobs and getting things done. In Washington, I'll fight to bring back good-paying jobs and fix our health care. I'm Mike Braun. I approve this message, and I ask for your vote.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Born and raised in Chicagoland, my partners and I knew this city needed a locally owned business bank. As fellow entrepreneurs, we know the challenges facing businesses, and we are invested in our customers' success. We are here to build mutually beneficial, long-term, lasting relationships with our customers. We look forward to helping our customers reach their goals every day, and we are here to see them succeed. At Signature Bank, you work directly with decision makers who understand your business and can deliver on their promises.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Megan Crane. A weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
It is 8:38. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
It's a rough morning for Blackhawk standbys. The inbound Eisenhower won't make you feel much better. It's jammed. Mannheim to the Bird Circle, 1 hour, 390 to downtown, 47 minutes from Mannheim. Outbound 57 minutes to 390. Stevenson's worse. Hour and 15 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40 minutes. The Edens is fine inbound. Outbound 30 minutes to get from Montrose to Lake Cook. Kennedy, 52 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 49. Bryant from 95th to downtown is 30 minutes. Southbound Tri-State delays. 120 to Bradley. From the Adams Tollway to Irving Park. Northbound Cicero to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Reagan Tollway slow 59 to Yackley. Southbound Veterans Memorial. Fountain most of the way to St. Charles. And from the Army Trail Toll to 290. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, cloudy, windy, high near 50 today, 48 at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO.com. Call 773-447-5448 and get the sun out of your eyes.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. A number of candidates, including the fake practicing nurse Lauren Underwood, have made health insurance central to their campaign. Democrats think that they have a real advantage demagoguing health insurance against Republicans, for trying to unwind Obamacare and the like. But it turns out, and I don't know why Republicans don't do a better job of marketing this. To some extent, it's complicated. But it turns out the Trump administration has advanced a number of reforms that increase freedom and personal choice and actually stabilize the Obamacare exchanges. For more on this, now is the time to understand it and the implications, if there are going to be any, to your health insurance choices with today's outcomes. To help us discern all of that, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend C.S. Tucker. C. Stephen Tucker, founder and principal broker for healthinsurancementors.com. C.S., thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Good morning. And so I wanted to just talk a little bit about what the Trump administration has done on these fronts, including on health reimbursement arrangements that allow employers to offer workers tax-exempt dollars to buy insurance in the individual market.
Yeah, that's very interesting what they're doing. They're allowing, well, first of all, the extended non-ACA plans, which are short-term health insurance plans from 90 days to 365 days. So you don't have to stack 4 90-day policies together to achieve a full year of coverage. And then they're allowing, and hopefully this will be implemented, the ability for employers to provide a stipend to their employees to purchase those much less expensive non-ACA qualified policies. They're less expensive because they don't cover pre-existing conditions, but those who don't have pre-existing conditions and don't qualify for federal subsidies will pay half the premium necessary to maintain an ACA qualified policy without a subsidy, which is now more expensive than most people's mortgages. So that little rule allows employers then to provide a subsidy or a stipend to their employees to buy those types of plans, which is a good idea.
And one of the things that does, just to interrupt, but I wanted to get clarity on this. One of the things that does then is draw more young and healthy workers into the individual market, which currently skews towards the sick or the poor enough to be eligible for the subsidy. So that's a good thing.
Indeed, yes. As you know, the ratio between old and sick went from 3 to 1 to 5 to 1, which means the cost for younger people, the health insurance for them went up by 3 times. The cost for a quote-unquote catastrophic plan prior to Obamacare would be about $85 for a young and healthy person. Today, if they buy the catastrophic plan, it'll be $325. So that has driven the young and healthy people who we desperately need in the national risk pool out of the national risk pool.
Well, I heard all weekend from former President Obama, his campaign saying, healthcare is a mess that he's taken away. If you have a pre-existing condition, you're not going to get the care that you need. So who's lying? Who's telling the truth here?
Well, we know who's lying already because remember he said, if you like your plan, you keep your plan, right? And we
Great
know that was a
impersonation,
lie.
by the way.
Really, you dug
Thank
deep
you.
for that.
Yeah, 8 years. So that was a lie from him. He had told the lie of the year for 2013, according to PolitiFact, so we can't trust him on anything. But the truth is, Republicans have, since 1996, along with Democrats, consistently supported legislation to ensure that those with pre-existing conditions will have coverage for pre-existing conditions. There was a law passed in 1996, and it's called HIPAA law. And that law outlines in several sections, 2741, 2742, and 2744, that states must establish either a high-risk health insurance pool or an annual open enrollment period or some sort of risk mitigation system for people who are denied health insurance in the individual marketplace. This is why I've been doing this for 22 years as a licensed broker in multiple states, and I have never been unable to offer someone health insurance, no matter how heavy or how sick they were, because our state, Illinois, was one of 45 states that had a risk mitigation system in place. It was called ICHIP, the Illinois Comprehensive Health Insurance Plan. And so people who were denied coverage in the individual marketplace would simply go to ICHIP, and they would be insured through Blue Cross Blue Shield, and they would pay a slightly higher premium than those who didn't have pre-existing conditions. And those premiums in the old ICHIP high-risk health insurance pool, believe me, my clients who were insured on the risk pool 7 years ago would kill or die to have those premiums back compared to facing an unsubsidized premium with Obamacare.
And it's interesting because this is, you talked about the big lie of 2013. One of the big lies the Democrats have told this cycle is the idea that Republicans are going to drop people with pre-existing conditions. They're purposely undermining the exchanges, and it's quite the opposite. And in fact, Senator Bill Kennedy from Louisiana, who actually is a medical doctor, had an op-ed on CNN's website to that effect, but of course it hasn't gotten much amplification. So we've got the Trump administration, again, more consumer freedom, more personal choice, stabilizing Obamacare, incentivizing more healthy and young into the system, extending short-term plans and association health plans, frankly, doing what it can to advance market reforms under the construct of Obamacare since the repeal and replace failed in the Senate.
That's exactly right. And there's also these waivers. Our wonderful new HHS director, Alex Azar, and our new CMS director, Seema Virma, they are approving state waivers for states like Wisconsin, where they can put a health reinsurance system in place so that claims, for example, between $50,000 and $250,000 are covered under a different risk mitigation system, which thereby lowers premiums for people who are healthy. And Scott Walker is doing that right now in Wisconsin. And he's able to do that because the Trump administration is allowing more flexibility. Indiana begged for a waiver from Obamacare so that they could design their own state-run systems, and they were denied repeatedly to do that. Under the Trump administration, these states are being allowed the ability to design their own risk mitigation systems like Alaska has done, Oregon has done. Alaska cut premiums by 40% last year by putting in place their own state-run mitigation systems. So it's not that Republicans don't want to cover pre-existing conditions. They do. They spent $100 billion in the American Health Care Act to ensure that pre-existing conditions will continue to be covered. It is how they will be covered going forward. It does not make sense to mandate all health insurers cover pre-existing conditions if there's only one health insurer left in the whole state of Indiana, and that is the case today for people in the individual marketplace. So the current system is unsustainable. There are more intelligent ways to do it going forward, and until Democrats stop calling us racist who want to deny coverage for pre-existing conditions, we're never going to come together on a bipartisan basis to form a solution that's sustainable going forward.
Well, so that's what the Trump administration has done. And if Democrats take the House today, and maybe the Senate, anything's within the realm of possibility, unlikely, this is what they want to do, as explained by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to Jorge Ramos on a porch, because it's a very...
Because you have to sit at the porch?
Well, because they're very casual. They're very neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's Alexandria and Jorge from the block. Listen to Alexandria Cortez explain how easy it is to finance, quote-unquote, Medicare for all.
Medicare for all. Is it too expensive?
No. People often say, like, how are you going to pay for it? And I find the question so puzzling because how do you pay for something that's more affordable? How do you pay for cheaper rent? How do you pay for, you just pay for it. We're paying more now. So it's not that we're saying this whole system is free. It's saying it is free of cost at the point of service. So that means that you're not delaying going to the dentist. You're not, because you don't have the cash at the point of service.
Number
9.
Was she speaking English?
So, C. Stephen Tucker, could you explain that to us?
This is why I refer to her as Alexandria Occasional Cortex.
Wow.
I rather...
pretty good.
Went there.
Pretty good.
I would rather not take public health care policy from someone who was a bartender in 2017. She is not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed. But the truth is, even if you read the studies from the left-leaning, actually it's way left, Urban Institute, the cost of this Medicare for All would be about $34 trillion over the next 10 years. But which, of course, is unsustainable and impossible to do since the Medicare Trust Fund is already strained trying to provide care for our senior citizens. But more important than that, people need to understand that Medicare for All is actually Medicare for none. It is also private health insurance for none, including your employer-sponsored plan. None of those plans would exist anymore. Your employer plan, your individual health insurance plan, they will all be wiped out and replaced by a single-payer system. And anyone who wants to know how single-payer works, just ask a veteran.
All right. He is C. Stephen Tucker, founder and principal broker for healthinsurancementors.com. CS, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear special election night coverage tonight, beginning at 7. Then talk about it with Dan and Amy tomorrow morning, starting at 5 a.m. on your election station, AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I don't respect this president.
The radical liberals in Washington will do anything to stop the president's agenda to make America great again.
I don't trust this president.
They would rather see the country fail.
His motives and his actions are contemptible.
Than fix the problems facing our nation.
And I will fight every day until he is impeached. Impeach 45. Impeach 45.
But Julie Olthoff isn't waiting around for the career politicians in Washington to deliver solutions. Julie Olthoff believes our conservative ideas will give us prosperity and preserve the American dream. That's why Julie has worked with Governor Holcomb to balance Indiana's budget, cut taxes for hardworking Hoosiers, and fully fund the next 20 years of building and maintaining our roads and bridges. Julie Olthoff and Governor Eric Holcomb have Indiana on the right track. Vote Julie Olthoff for state representative on or before November 6th.
Paid for by Voters for Julie Olthoff.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs. Get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain, find the source, and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with chronic pain. You can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
If you're like most people and you see two gas stations and one sells gas for a little bit less, you go to that one. It just makes sense. Every little bit helps. But here's what's weird, though. Sometimes we save a few pennies here and there and ignore opportunities to save huge money, life-changing money. If you switch to Medi-Share for your health care, it could be massive savings for you. The typical savings for a family is $500 a month. Think what you could do with that over time. Just doing the math, that's $6,000 a year. That is significant. And yes, people love it, and they love it because it works. It's believers who share each other's healthcare costs. More than 400,000 people are now members of Medi-Share, and it's growing like crazy. Find out how much you could save and why Medi-Share is so popular. Go to Medishare.com or call 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. Medishare.com or 855-BIBLE-11.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had cancer.
I have fibromyalgia, I have nerve damage and fatigue, I have thalassemia, I'm hypoglycemic. So my life since cancer, I've had to learn how to live with it. But starting Balance of Nature, I felt that the first month I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Famous Winston Churchill quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Winston Churchill brilliantly stated, "One man with conviction will overwhelm 100 men who have only opinions." That statement qualifies as eternal truth.
It's important we support companies that share our conservative values. If you are a manufacturer, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. As a software and systems integration company, Automated Systems creates custom solutions to make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. It doesn't matter if you're a Fortune 500 or a startup, Automated Systems delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you, man, to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit automatedsys.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
Are you a fiduciary? If you're the owner or officer of a company sponsoring a corporate retirement plan, then you are a fiduciary. Why is this important? As a fiduciary, you may be held personally liable for breaches in your 401k plan. There has been a recent surge in lawsuits related to excessive fees and fiduciary breaches targeting 401k plans, their owners, and officers. One of our newest charity golf benefactors, Clear Financial Strategies, is your retirement plan CFO, bringing together a specialized fiduciary compliance and management team to help prevent potential lawsuits, all at competitive costs. Discover if your 401k contains any hidden fees or risks, and how Clear Financial Strategies is a registered investment advisor that's a true fiduciary. Professionals placing your interests first. I suggest you request Clear Financial Strategies custom report on company retirement plan risks. Visit my401krisks.com. That's my401krisks.com. Do it today, my401krisks.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Ann and Amy, so the big local story to close this election edition of Morning Answer is Lauren Underwood and the fraud that she's committed on the voters of the 14th District. First, political fraud, presenting herself as a practicing nurse seeing patients, and she's not, and she never has been. She's a registered nurse, but she's not a practicing nurse, and that's not how she presents herself in her commercials for the purposes of making her case as this, nurse from Naperville.
Yeah, which she clearly is not. She's never worked in a hospital, in a clinic, and sees patients eye to eye. It was all a bunch of bull jive, and she addressed it last night.
This is what career politicians do when the polls show they're slipping.
And then you know what she did after that little get-together? She ran out and had 4 people protect her to keep the press away.
Here's the other thing, though, and this is a more serious matter in terms of criminal law. She's not just faking being a practicing nurse. She was faked in 2016 being an Illinois resident for the purposes of voting. That's also known as voter fraud. She worked, according to her own profile, DHS in D.C., where she lived, Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, I should say, 2010 to 2017. She was registered to vote in District of Columbia, where she voted 6 times over the period that she worked for HHS. Except the 2016 primary here in Illinois, where she voted absentee using her parents' address.
Oh, nice.
To vote legally in Illinois, in addition to being a citizen and 18 years old, you have to be a resident of the state for at least 30 days prior to voting. Purporting to be registered to vote in 2 jurisdictions is a violation of the law. So it certainly appears that she was in violation of the law, that she committed voter fraud by voting in the 2016 Democrat primary. Remember, she's a 32-year-old woman who's living at her parents' house in White Eagle in Naperville, who just returned to Illinois a year ago to run for Congress.
And she worked for Obama, and she worked for HHS for
7 years.
7 years.
Right.
And it looks like she's more of a plant that they got out a map and said, which congressional district should we target in your area? Oh, Randy Hultgren.
I mean, so,
and that's fine.
The point is,
but don't pass off yourself as something that you're not.
Yeah, they're right. And
don't lie. And that commercial was shot at White Eagle Dentistry.
And the Chicago Press Corps, with a few exceptions, was totally uninterested in this until one of the publications I started covered it. But to their credit, ABC News did pick up the story.
Yeah, Eric Hong picked it up last night.
Hultgren says the ads don't match her resume.
Looking into patients' eyes, that's what she said. There's nothing in her resume to say that she's done that. She's been twisting it with a stethoscope, with the scrubs on in a dentist's office.
Tonight, Underwood left without taking questions,
and just ran out. And she said the only contact she's had with people is during her work for her master's degree. That's not being a nurse.
And then Hung's comment on it?
Oh, Hung's comment at the end said, "What the reality? This isn't really what happened. That she really is not a nurse anywhere in Illinois, in Washington D.C., in Maryland. She's registered, but she's never worked as a nurse. Just got the degree."
Factor that in with your vote for those who live in the 14th congressional district, key suburban district that could, as close as it is, according to the closing polls, could determine control of the House of Representatives. And in Illinois, remember, it's not about who's in the White House. It's about saving your house. State legislative candidates. If you've heard anything I've said for the last 8 months, state legislative candidates dumping suburban Democrats if you want to change the future of Illinois.
Thanks so much for making us part of the morning. We are back here bright and early 5 a.m. Now here is Mike Scott.
Election day in Illinois, gray skies and rain. WIND Chicago News Time. It's 9 o'clock.